Turn it on and rip the knob off.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wrestling Memory Grenade, episode number 40. Nice round number there. This is a special dual watch-along edition as we go back to the WWF and the European Rampage Tour of April 1993. And it's officially December. December is now here in 2021. So we got one more month left this year, and then it's going to be 2022. Wow, can't believe that. I'm your host, as always, Ray Russell, and joining me for this dual watch-along episode is Mr. 1993, Steven Eckstadt. Welcome back to the show, Steve.
What's going on, man?
You ready for these watch-alongs, man?
Absolutely. More. Excellent. 2 more, right?
Yeah, 2 watch-alongs here on this episode.
Time.
Yeah.
This is a first.
And before we get going with this dual watch-along edition, I'd be remiss if I didn't remind everyone to stop on over to our social media accounts. You can hit us up on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at Wrestling Grenade. That's at RASSLIN Grenade. And over at Facebook, you can follow us at facebook.com/Wrestling Grenade. Probably soon to be meta.com, but we'll get to that whenever that actually happens. But for now, it's facebook.com/Wrestling Grenade, and on Twitter again at Wrestling Grenade, home of the free prize giveaway. Most recently, guys, we've given away autographed 8x10 promo pics of both Bret the Hitman Hart and Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And just last week for Thanksgiving, I gave away an October 1992 edition of the WWF magazine featuring the Native American Tatanka. On the cover, the tie-in there, the Native American Tatanka, Native Americans, Thanksgiving, get it? Okay, so congrats again to all of our recent winners here. Some of them already retweeted pictures of the prizes they've won on our Twitter account. And be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook for your chance to enter and win future free prize giveaways, all coming soon. More on that in the not-so-distant future. Steve, I'm sure you have a few things brewing in your mind.
Yeah, working on some things, just trying to figure out what I want to do next. Definitely look out for something new
heading into the holiday season. Steve's teasing maybe something coming very soon. So continue to watch out there on Facebook and Twitter, guys. Also, want to remind everyone, the Wrestling Memory Grenade is also on YouTube, and I've added tons of new footage on there in recent days, including rare Terry Taylor hosted WWF on TSN episodes. Some clips there of Terry Taylor here in 1993 hosting the WWF on TSN, the Canadian show. I've also included some TSN exclusive matches, WWF Mania exclusive matches, including the New Look Repo Man we were talking about a couple episodes ago on the Grenade. Mr. Perfect as the perfect hitter out there with Wade Boggs. The Wild Razor Ramon, Mr. Perfect Brawl we discussed a few shows back. And yes, the Bob Backlund Shuttlecock match has also made its way to our YouTube account. Again, that's the Wrestling Memory Grenade on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe there. We just need a couple more subscribers and we'll be able to grab that vanity URL we're looking for on YouTube. And you can always listen to the Wrestling Memory Grenade and our sister shows, Monday Warfare, The Battles Within, TR Shocks the World, The Power Hour, and more. Those are all available on WrestleCopia.com and all of your favorite podcast streaming apps. Apple Pod, Spotify, Google Pod, Pocket Cast, Overcast, Stitcher, Audible on Amazon, iHeartRadio, so many more, guys. And it's like I said, today's episode, not one but two watch-alongs coming your way. And we've cut out the hard work for you guys on your end by finding these shows for you. You can watch along with us by going to our social media accounts where links have been posted for you to find these shows and, of course, watch along with us. You can also find direct links to these shows in our episode number 40 show descriptions. Wherever you're listening to this particular episode, whether it be WrestleCopia.com or a podcast streaming app, the links are right there in the show notes. I should note there's no monetary gain to be had here. On our end, by sharing these links, they're simply out there online for entertainment purposes only. And the shows in question we'll be reviewing tonight, we'll be watching along tonight, the WWF in Paris, France, from April 8th, 1993, and WWF in Milan, Italy, April 25th, 1993, as part of the European Rampage Tour. Paris, France will be Group A we discussed last week on the April show. And the Milan, Italy show will be Group B of the WWF Talent. And we're going to see a lot of interesting matches maybe we've never seen before. So it's going to be real fun as we kick things off here with the April 8th Paris show in just a few moments. But first, it's that time, Steve. Virgil of the week. And this week it's it just keeps getting better. Virgil, he's told us he's going to throw Razor Ramon into the stands. He loves his food, fried, dyed, laid to the side. Well, this week, Virgil is just as good as the Hitman. Let's listen.
I'd like to thank the people all over the world for following me and staying behind me. But myself, I got to take my hat off to Bret Hart. He is the new World Wrestling Federation champion because he went and did the job that he had to do. He went out, kicked butt, and took names. Because on any given day, anyone can beat anyone. And I want all you good people to take their hats off to Bret Hart because he's a very good one. And one other thing, he's one of my good friends. But there's a lot of tough guys in the WWF, and I got a long, long road to climb, and I'm going to take step by step and name by name because I'm going to go to the top. I see Bret Hart can do it. Why not? Virgil can do it too.
Well, there you go, Steve. If Bret Hart can do it, why not fucking Virgil, right? Huh?
Right, yeah. Oh, my God.
I want to preface this, too. I should have prefaced this, that he mentions that Bret Hart just won the title. I actually got this audio from like a January or February show. So, no, Bret Hart didn't, although I can't prove when he recorded this promo. Then again, he doesn't know the new guys that just came into the company either. My mind, I don't even know. But a lot of good things here. Like, I was always so excited at first. Remember last week he tipped his head? This week, at least, he tipped his hat. Even though the guy, he wasn't wearing a hat, but he tipped his hat. So he got it right this week. So I'm like, oh, maybe he'll do a little better here. But he likes to thank the people every week. In case you haven't noticed, that's how he opens most of these promos. Then it happens. This is where the promo falls apart. He tells the fans to take their hats off for Bret Hart. It's a very good one. I don't even know what that means. Like, are the people's hats very good ones? Or I'm very, very confused what any of that meant as he goes step by step, name by name. And if Bret Hart can do it, hey, why not? Virgil can do it too, Steve.
Wishful thinking there by the Meat Sauce King. Wow, what a train wreck.
always a fun little segment on the show, guys. But you didn't come here well, maybe you did come here for Virgil of the week, I guess. But yeah, you also came here, if you're listening to this episode, for not one, but two, count them two, watch-alongs. And we're going to kick things off, like I already said. The first of two watch-alongs, we're going to start off, of course, with April 8th, 1993, the WWF in Paris, France at Bercy Stadium in front of 5,000 people. As you might notice from these links, both of these shows, both Paris and Italy, are in two parts. Both of the first parts are about an hour each, and the second parts are roughly anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes each. And we're going to kick off with part one. You guys want to go to part one of the Paris, France, April 8th show, and I'm going to count you down here in a second. If Steve's ready, we're going to get this thing rolling. I'm going to count you guys down. I'll say press play, and we're going to get rolling with the first part of the Paris, France show. We're going to kick things off, I believe, with Shawn Michaels defending his Intercontinental title against Bob Backlund. From there, it's Crush versus Doink. The Nasty Boys take on the Headshrinkers, and Mr. Perfect meets the Narcissist, Lex Luger, here in part one. Are you ready, Steve?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, let's count you guys down. We're going to get going here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, press play. And here we go, as somebody has clearly edited in a Coliseum video opening to this show here in Paris, France. Clever. Let's pick up the audio. All right, no offense to any French-speaking listeners that we have out there, but I don't know French, and this would really throw me off if I sat here and listened. Obviously, we both know the guy on the left there. That's Raymond Rougeau. Not familiar with the guy on the right, Steve. Are you?
No clue.
No idea here. And I try to do my homework on everything, but there's no names down here. There's no Chiron here. And I tried to listen, and Raymond doesn't even introduce himself, so I have no idea who this other gentleman is as we get going. So right away, we're already, Shawn Michaels on the out. Let's see what Shawn has to say.
That touch seems to turn to gold. Bob Backlund, the All-American boy.
Rah.
Being the All-American boy isn't gonna do you a bit of good here in Paris, France. But see, the Intercontinental Champion, whose sex appeal is known worldwide, is gonna show you that his wrestling ability goes from east to west, north to south, and everywhere in between. Backlund, you All-American loser, you are gonna go down to the sexiest man alive and the World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Champion.
Didn't that, I don't know, maybe it's just me, didn't that feel to you like they were just walking like, hey, Shawn, you want to film something real quick? And they just threw this together. It was a good promo, though. Don't get me wrong. Everything I touch turns to gold. The statue with the tits right there on it. That was raw, Steve, by the way, as we get HBK headed to the ring.
Yeah, either that or somebody saw it and thought of Shawn Michaels immediately. And, hey, we got to go get Shawn. We got to do a promo right here. So.
Shawn headed out. So, I like that little opening they did. Clearly, they show you that this is definitely a serious European tour. They're going all over the place. And one of these stops here, I think this is their first stop, is Paris, France. They did TV. WrestleMania was April 4. April 5th and 6th were TV tapings, and then the Group A headed out to Europe for this tour. And Shawn Michaels defending the Intercontinental title against Bob Backlund. So Shawn's a busy boy. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Tatanka. Now it's Bob Backlund here on the house shows most of April.
That's unfortunate.
It's
Look at
also
this jacket.
talk about having to work a variety of styles. Shawn Michaels definitely from Tatanka to Bob Backlund and Hacksaw for that matter. My God. No wonder he got to be the king of the main eventers for many years. He learned to handle everybody.
Yeah, no doubt there. It all started in 93.
I will openly admit, Steve, I have never watched this match, so I'm a bit afraid of how this is going to wind up.
I've never seen this. Oh, Lord. Poor Shawn.
Well, I mean, he's in and out, though. He's opening the show, so, I mean, you're early to bed, early to rise. I don't think Shawn's going to bed early, but I think he's getting out of the arena early.
Oh, yeah, he's out. Shawn Michaels has left the building 20 minutes after it starts.
Houses of ill repute, I think maybe legal in Paris? I don't know. There's ways around it. Yeah, there's ways around it. And Backlund, not only did he wrestle very odd, his stance was very odd, but he just his mannerisms were just weird.
He's a weird guy in general.
Yeah, that's true. Shawn not going to give Bobby the old handshake before the match. Bob's hand is still standing out for anybody not watching this. But Shawn walked away 10 seconds ago, and Bob's hand's still extended.
Lord. Do you think Bob Backlund collects anything? Like, what would Bob Backlund collect?
I don't know.
He was a collector.
Well, he wore the same gear for about 30 years, so I don't know that that's a good question. What would he collect? Maybe his version of the WWF title? I don't even know if he got to keep those things back then. Probably not.
Well, I think they do because Tito tells the story that green IC title, once he won it, I think for Valentine, he destroyed it. His wife threw it in the trash because they got a new one, and he just trashed it. He regrets it.
That sounds like something Tito would have done back in the day. A lot of guys did things like that, though. Oh, yeah.
Because he could make a fortune off of it now.
But that's the reason he regrets it. He regrets it because there's money to be made. He doesn't regret it because it's a piece of memorabilia. A lot of wrestlers think like that, though, Yeah. Shawn slamming
$1, but no. So I'm assuming Bob, if he kept it, probably had his WWF title.
Look at Shawn relaxing here across the top rope. I always loved when he used to do that. I haven't seen that in so long. I forgot that he used to do that. I love that. And Bob Backlund selling a body slam now for close to a minute.
Shaking his head like 6 times.
Well, you can't blame him. You can't. He's still stretching that back. Man, what a body slam that Shawn Michaels has.
It hits a little different when you're 43 years old, I guess.
Yeah, we were. Well, shit. Ric Flair was 50 taking those backdrops 3 times a match, and
he never sold it.
Oh, what the hell was
arm drags?
Yeah, it was something. Here comes a body slam from Bob. Let's see if Shawn sells it the same.
Oh my God! Look how long he's holding him up,
and launches him. Gives him the old Kimchee toss. And a backslide. Nice little sequence of moves from Bob there. And Shawn hits the deck, and he hits the deck hard. Who am I, Steve?
I'm Bob's following
Eric Bischoff. Bob's chasing Shawn up the aisleway. This is, so far, fairly entertaining. It's like crazy Bob Backlund here. He looks a little nutty here, chasing Shawn up the aisleway. So, early look at crazy Bob Backlund.
Just waiting for the long rest holds and headlocks and arm bars.
No,
coming.
You had to say that, didn't you? I was getting all excited here for a minute, and yeah, something's about to give.
Yeah.
Bob's not.
One thing I've always hated about, I don't know if it's just the way they do events. I know those soccer crowds can get crazy and all that, right. But the horn playing, it's all the time.
Yeah,
It never stops in the UK show. You go watch SummerSlam '92, and it's just, all you hear is that damn horn. It drives you nuts after a while. But
soccer, baby.
You think they're doing it here in Paris?
I don't know what goes on in France, man, to be honest with you. That's just pretty ignorant when it comes to the country of France, to be honest with you. Shawn, Bob Backlund ready for him.
And I took French for 3 years in high school, and I couldn't tell you shit about it.
Oh, Bob threatening to stomp Shawn in the face? That's not a babyface thing to do, Bob. Look at
the alphabet and the numbers. That's about it.
I vaguely remember the alphabet. I took French for a year.
It's interesting, but what the hell? He's stalling and oh my God.
So first Bob teases stomping Shawn in the face for 30 seconds. Then he teases elbowing Shawn in the face for another 30 seconds. And during that entire minute, he does absolutely nothing.
Right into the armbar.
And yeah, after all of that, all we get is an armbar. What a terrible tease.
What a bum.
Poor Bob Backlund.
Sorry about that.
He did have
squatting on the armbar. Oh, wow, that was nice. Just lifted him off the ground.
Well, Shawn threw himself off the ground, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, but that was pretty nice, though.
Got to make it look good.
Got to entertain out of an armbar.
For those wondering what a house show was like, this is pretty much it right here. And I'm not saying that negatively as far as this armbar stuff, although that is something you got to deal with on the house shows. But this is Group A and Group B, the house shows. These are the matches you were getting back in the day. Shawn Michaels and Bob Backlund right now in the ring. And up next, we got Crush and Doink, a rematch from WrestleMania. The Nasty Boys and the Headshrinkers rematch. That was fun from Raw. For the Nasty Boys, it was fun, Steve, anyway.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Perfect and Narcissist, another rematch. We'll see if Hennig can remember his spots this time.
I doubt it.
Later on in the show, though, it kind of falls apart for a little bit. Kamala and Kimchee, rematch from March to WrestleMania 9 there. And Typhoon and Damien DeMento, that's got to be a barn burner, right? That's the bathroom break match, right?
Yeah.
You yawned immediately after I...
Yeah, you said Typhoon and it's time to go to sleep.
I thought it was both of them, Typhoon and Damien DeMento.
Yeah.
Shawn taking over on the heat here. No, Bob moves and Shawn hits the post. Oh, it's going to be back to the armbar then, right? Is that what we're doing?
He's selling the right arm, right?
Yeah, this time.
He'll do it for Bob, but not Marty.
Not Marty. Main event on this show is Yokozuna taking on Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So Duggan coming for his revenge, which I like.
I like it too. That's probably that's the interesting match on the card. Something new that we haven't seen yet. But I feel like this Nasties and Headshrinkers match, since it's being televised, could get a little out of control. It could be a train wreck that's not supposed to be entertaining, but it might entertain me anyway. No, I mean, just as in, this is the newest, this is the one match we haven't seen already besides this one.
Right.
And, well, this one's going swell. Bob Backlund working the arm for 2 minutes plus here.
Ooh, Shawn pops him right in the face with that elbow. Yeah, Luger did the same thing to Bob in the King of the Ring qualifier I just watched. So it's maybe this is a Bob spot. Maybe he calls that spot there. I don't know. I was wondering if Shawn was even going to get heat on Backlund, but here he goes. He kicks him out of the ring. Simple moves injure Bob Backlund. Body slam, an elbow to the face, and then he just goes down. Shawn sends Bob into the stair. Or the chair
there.
Yeah.
That's what he's used to, though. That's how they worked in the 70s. Some people, anyway.
Well, Bob worked in the 70s like it was the 60s. So here in the 90s, he's still working like it's about
the 70s.
Yeah, the WWF 70s. I shouldn't say that for all territories. A lot of the other territories were far above where the WWF was in that period. It was kick and punch fest, big guys, and that's all. That's what sold in New York City, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's what AEW does now. They play to their audience. That's their audience. They make their audience happy.
That's
New York,
Steve. Yeah.
You could be lazy as shit and make your crowd happy by beating up the bad guy, just punching kicks. That's all it takes.
Do less and make more up there at Madison Square Garden. So yeah, I can't blame any of the heels that wanted to come through.
I don't know.
Word Bruno or
mad at this.
Well, I'm mad at this. I'm mad at Typhoon and Damien DeMento, and I haven't even watched it yet.
Oh yeah, I am too. But I mean, like,
oh, what was that? I don't even think he touched him.
I don't. That was nothing. He just jumped off the rope. But
Bob sold nothing.
Well, I guess why we're talking about like this is the house show. I guess I don't know how many people seen the Meltzer comment about. He said that it's not this mythical magic time where they put on classic matches all the time during the house shows. It was just zombies doing rest holds and going home. And like if that's the case, that's fine. It's whatever. But like you just said, that's not every territory. That's not every company. That's not every house show.
Right.
A lot of the like Memphis and World Class and all those, their house shows were the money. That's where all the big things happened. That's where all the big matches happened, and that's where you went to see those blow-offs. You didn't get them on TV. The TV built to the house shows.
Right. Dave knows that. I mean, Dave moved to Dallas that's like a mark when World Class was peaking. I mean, so Dave knows what was going on. It's just you know why he about it. Right. You know the narrative. You know where he's going with all of this.
He's just thinking he's doing a blanket statement saying everybody was the WWF because AEW is so much better right now than anything that's ever been produced in the world of in the history of wrestling. So that's the narrative that he's spinning. But I mean, like so what's more? I can't think of the word. Like what's harder to do? 900 flips and get a pop from the crowd, or I'll go back to it. I'll go back to it to the end of time because I've never seen anything like it. Bruno doing a couple punches and walking out of the cage, and he gets a pop that's louder than 99% of the stuff that happens right now.
Yeah,
he did absolutely nothing, and it's
those
like
Bruno matches, like Spiros Arion versus Bruno, and guys like that. And this is later in Bruno's career. This isn't even like the early Bruno stuff, but you're not even there. And you can feel the garden vibrate, like the walls shake from watching it at home. It's the crowd level is so insane. You always hear those cliche things like, oh, they're going to tear the building down. I don't know how that building stood sometimes from the roar of those 18,000. It was insane at points. And like you said, it was a couple punches and a bunch of stomps and maybe a slam if you were lucky. And I'm not shitting on Bruno. I think Bruno was amazing for what he did.
He is. Like, it's not my cup of tea. I can't get into 70s wrestling, and I'm not trying to get off track here, but there's absolutely nothing going on in this match. It's just headlocks and
a front face lock that's been going on for the last several minutes. That's why we haven't been calling the action.
Great facials by Shawn there, but no, I can appreciate the heck out of what Bruno did, and it makes you just think like how easy it was. I mean, it wasn't easy because if it was, everybody would be Bruno,
right?
But it takes that. Whoa, that was cool. That really was cool.
Yeah, that was a nice.
Jumped
spot
off the middle rope and hit a backdrop without even touching the ground. That was nice. I never seen that before.
Well, Bob
Shawn's
has that.
Selling for him.
Yeah, Bob has that freakish strength that he can, for his size, he can kind of handle guys the size of Shawn and do these Well, that was not good.
Oh, that was terrible.
Bob refuses to take bumps. That was supposed to be a swinging neck breaker, only Bob swung and didn't even take the bump. That was awful.
That body slam really took it out of his back early on.
I think we're, yeah. Was he going to pile drive, Shawn? Wow, that's a heel move there, Bob. I can't believe you. Oh, look at him. Oh, my God, look at the face he's making.
Like
he's got that
Rumble.
that nutty, crazy,
nice.
look from the Rumble when he's looking around. And he's still in the match an hour later. Pile driver by
like
Bob Backlund.
Trying to get the pin. Come on, Bob.
And I feel like we're heading into the home stretch here. Bob's making his comeback. He's not doing it as fast as some. Shawn's getting in the ropes. That could be it. Oh, no, swing and a miss. Oh, here we go. Backlund with the O'Connor roll into the Backlund bridge. No, Shawn reverses, pulls the tights. 3, Shawn Michaels reverses the O'Connor roll. Uses Backlund's momentum against him as he was trying to do that bridge. Good little spot there. And, of course, he has to hook the tights. And Bob he has no idea what just happened. He has no idea.
He's looking around like he has no idea what the hell's going on.
Well, the referee was Danny Davis, of all people, so, you never know.
Yeah. So the first 3 or 4 minutes was decent, and the last 2 or 3 minutes was decent. You can skip everything in the middle.
It's that 10 minutes in between that just, no thanks. I think we're going to throw to a Doink promo, so we'll pick that up right now.
Et regarde le maillot, on le voit très bien ici. Une victoire contestée de Shawn Michaels. Ah, je suis sûr que la WWF va voir les images. Alors, pour l'instant, Frédéric, on va aller rejoindre Guy Auré.
All right, I guess we'll go back when they actually do throw to the Doink promo, I suppose. When we're done, Steve. Oh, here we go.
Look at
Doink
this guy.
Doink the clown.
Want to be Jesse the Body?
That's the third Doink right there.
Crush?
Yes. You're meeting with Crush tonight. Is that what you're laughing?
I'm not laughing.
Il ne rit pas.
What?
You're not laughing? Do you think Crush has the same sense of humor than you?
A sense of humor? I don't think he knows what it means.
Apparemment, Crush n'a pas le même sens d'humour. And have you got a gift for him tonight?
A gift?
For Crush.
I've given him more than what he deserves. I gave him a vacation. I gave him so much, he does not appreciate one thing. But I do have one very special trick for him.
À ma question s'il avait un cadeau pour Crush ce soir, il nous répond presque.
Yeah, no idea what you're saying, dude.
I don't know either.
So that's clearly Matt Borne, I would say, from that promo, from the cell job there, the voice, and the more muscular neck too. I hate to sound weird, but I mean it looked like Matt Borne. I mean, there's the face. Now I know it's Matt Borne. That's definitely not Steve Keirn, which is what is reported online.
Yeah. Where's the chest hair, though?
Well, Skinner had chest hair, too. I mean, maybe he just shaved it off right now. He's going over to Europe, man. All the women have the hair over in France, right? Isn't that how it works?
You can tell that's him. His hair.
So
hair
it's
back there too.
Rematch time from WrestleMania, for the first of many here. It's Crush taking on Doink, looking for a little revenge after getting pinned with double Doink at WrestleMania 9. I think what they do here, I think Doink number 1, which is Matt Borne, is on the Group A house show tour, and then Doink number 2, which is Steve Keirn, will come over as part of the second touring group here later on in April. And you could tell immediately, since the gentleman who was interviewing Doink didn't speak very good English, Doink was just having fun with him as Borne crawls under the ring.
Good times. So the finish of the WrestleMania match was different, to say the least. A second Doink, obviously, but I was with you when we were talking about April in the WWF that it was probably time for Doink to move on from Crush. This really doesn't work too well. I mean, Doink, I don't want to say he's half the size of Crush. That's a little bit too much of an embellishment, but he's not the size of Crush. So it's already, I feel like it hurts Crush and his ability, or what you can get across with a guy the size of Crush. And Doink would do better. Well, he can't even pick Doink up. Look at that. 2 tries to get him up in that choke. I feel like Doink could have done better. We were talking about possibly Tatanka or someone of that size
Would have made a good feud here for Doink after WrestleMania. Like, move away. I get that they wanted to do the touring circuit with the double Doink spot like they do. I know they did it here for me. I went and saw the show where they did the spot. But I don't know, man. I think Doink would have been better off with Tatanka or just someone on that level.
Yeah, I think so too. Crush just, I mean, he sold the injury well, and the match I thought at WrestleMania was fine, but the ending just didn't lead to a finality of the feud. That's why you get these house show runs in April. But I think Doink would have been a little bit more sustainable if he got away from Crush quicker. But I think it's all downhill from here for both guys, really. I know Crush gets Shawn coming up, but that's about the extent of it until he turns. But Doink, this is really his one and only feud that he had. Besides Bam Bam, which is a joke, but...
Well, that's a different Doink, too.
Yeah. Once they turn him face and just strip Doink of what was Doink, it's completely useless to me.
Yeah, it becomes a kid's routine at that point.
I can't say I didn't eat it up when I was a kid. I wanted to see who the 4 Doinks were, and I was completely disappointed.
Yeah, I would have.
That's another story for another time.
Hey, man, I didn't even care for Babyface Doink, and I wanted to know who the 4 Doinks were, and then we got what we got when we got that.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, but Doink here, he's feuding with Crush. Obviously, that started going into the Rumble, so a couple weeks prior to the Rumble or whatever that was. Took Crush out. Crush comes back, goes for revenge. We get the double Doinks, and Crush never really resolves this. He never gets over on Doink on TV, so I don't know how this really helps Crush become a bigger star. And then, of course, later in the year, they take Crush out a second time with Yokozuna as they pretty much give up on his babyface run.
Yeah, I wonder why.
They never really had anything for him, and that's not his fault per se, other than this Doink storyline.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was he wasn't connecting with the crowd. I thought he had a decent reaction, and he was getting over a little bit, but I think that's a failure on their part to give him something more. I don't know. It's tough because they're both kind of relatively new. I know Crush was floundering there a little bit in '92, but this was really his first big angle, and he came in and got Doink, who was brand new too. So it's like you got 2 relatively new people, and you're trying to get them over, and you put them against each other. But one of them needs to take the loss at some point.
Belly to belly.
Just don't do it.
Shaka bra.
So.
Yeah, well, Crush, I'm sitting here and I'm watching him, and I'm thinking to myself, he came in whenever that was back in '92, and they really never did anything with him storyline wise until Doink. And then after that, they just kind of abandoned that, even though they still play some more of the Doink Crush stuff in at the King of the Ring out of nowhere. So it's still ongoing over the summer, I guess, at the house shows, I would imagine.
Oh.
Misses a knee drop off the top rope.
I wouldn't be taking that bump too many times.
Not at that size.
No, absolutely not.
Doink rolls out of the way and Crush misses that knee drop off the top.
Wow. So, yeah, that's another thing that baffled me, too. It's like on the States and the TV, you didn't see Doink and Crush do anything against each other, really. And then all of a sudden the King of the Ring comes around, and here comes Doink coming down the aisle in its match, and it made no sense. It's like, I thought this was done.
I think they were looking for outs to go into a finish there without trying to hurt Crush as well. It didn't really help him either.
No, they was booked in a corner, and I don't know, man. Just bad booking for him.
Yeah, the King of the Ring watch along will be coming up in maybe something like 3 weeks or so. So we'll definitely be talking about that. It was just odd out of nowhere, out of the blue. They do the angle, or they set up the Shawn Michaels Crush title match, and you feel like, well, Shawn was feuding with Mr. Perfect, so this is kind of the in between. Crush made sense. I mean, he was certainly a top contender, but
I think the other thing too is the tournament kind of took away some of the angles and feuds that were going on. Like Shawn and Perfect was going on, but they probably wanted Mr. Perfect in the tournament, so that takes that away from Shawn. And then you didn't want to put him in the tournament if he wasn't going to win, because you don't want your champion to lose. So it's like, who are we going to give him? Who's not in the tournament that's somewhat over? So he just kind of got fed Crush a little bit. That came out of nowhere too. So,
well, I think you're right. I think if you wrote down a list of baby faces at this point in time, Crush was the only one not on the show that was a feasible opponent, challenger at that point. Because you've already done Hacksaw, who's also in the tournament, so I guess this is irrelevant anyway. I was going to say, you've also done, Hacksaw's in the tournament, but they do that on Raw, Shawn and Hacksaw. So you really have nobody left but Crush. It seems like they just had to find a way to get to the match, I suppose.
Yeah.
Doink going to the top. Look at that balance.
That's great.
I always loved when he would get up there and laugh. It was great. Like, oh, nice sell shot by Doink.
Yeah, it would have been nice if they did like a mystery opponent and Marty came back at the pay-per-view. That would have been cool.
Yeah, that's a good call. I wouldn't have minded that at all. This match is not exactly, for as bad as the Shawn and Backlund, or boring as the middle of the Shawn and Backlund match was, this match is pretty sloppy, I feel.
It just seems like nothing's going on. Nothing.
Right. And
this is what we kind of talked about at WrestleMania 9. These guys just didn't work together. They didn't mesh. They probably worked 100 times between January and now, and they still don't have it figured out. It still looks like crap, and I think that's almost the problem with Doink. Borne's awesome. He's tremendous.
Yeah. Oh, look at that Harley Race bump out of the ring by Doink.
Nice. But the gimmick kind of hinders what he can do. It's all about selling the facial reactions and the craziness and all that stuff. And
well, I'll say this. We've watched him wrestle on TV. We watched him work jobbers. We watched him work Mr. Perfect. We've watched him work other guys. And we already know Matt Borne can work. So is it Matt Borne or is it Crush? Because I think I said this several episodes ago when we first started.
For him.
Yeah, I know. Uh-oh.
Do it again.
Looks like he's going to lock in the cranium crunch. Crush's finisher, but Doink is on the apron. That's where I would lock in my finisher. And it looks like Crush trying to pull him back in the ring, but I love it. Doink hooks his foot over the bottom rope so Crush can't pull him in, and takes a powder to the floor. Looks like Doink might be he's out of here. I think Doink's gone. If Crush was any kind of a man, he'd get out of the ring and grab him, but he's letting him go. That's it, I think. This is going to be a count out. What a payoff. Wow. Crush defeats Doink the Clown on a count out. Looks like 8 minutes and 10 seconds.
Why are you pissed, Crush? You could have went out and got him.
That would require work. Physical. Have you been watching this match?
No, I'm just saying, like, you can't act mad when he takes a powder and leaves.
Yeah.
You could have went out and got him. Like, that's so stupid. Not the reaction. You clearly were okay with the count-out victory, so why are you getting pissed about it?
Yeah, so much for revenge here tonight. If Crush really wanted revenge, he would have went out there and grabbed Doink, and now he's gonna go after him. Now that Doink's gone, look at him. Now he's gonna chase Doink. It took him a minute. He's hobbling too. Look
at him run. Yeah, he's hobbling. Is his leg bad?
But
he's selling that knee, man. He missed the knee off the top, so he's.
It's your favorite tag team. Let's listen to them.
Shit.
À mes côtés, les Nasty Boys.
Yankee, I heard you've been bad-mouthing the Nasty Boys. Looks like you're shaking in your shoes now, buddy.
Alors évidemment, ils pensent que j'ai peur et c'est un peu
What
vrai.
The fuck?
Mais tonight, you're meeting with the Headshrinkers.
Hey, we might be meeting with the Headshrinkers, and they might have their little itty-bitty headbutt, but that ain't nothing to Nasty's sensation, because Nasty's where it's at, and that's where we're gonna be. Tell them that.
Eh bien, ils n'ont pas peur du coup de boule des Headshrinkers. Vous savez que c'est leur routine de réchauffement aux Headshrinkers. Ils n'ont pas peur de ça et ils ont des choses très mauvaises, je dirais, à leur faire. Any strategy?
I don't know French, Steve, but that guy's talking way longer than Sags did. If he's translating there. So Knobs back on the mic. I'm done. I'm done with this. I don't know. I don't know what's worse. Yeah, I don't know what's worse, Knobs, Sags, or the French gentleman in the middle.
They're bullying this guy. They really are, feels like.
Well, what else is new? I mean, the good news here is they're gone after this tour. They're gone from the WWF. It's reported by DeMelts and other people that the Nasty Boys are fired. They're suspended upon returning home because
look what they're doing.
Oh my gosh! Now you know that guy didn't know that was coming.
They pit
stopped the interviewer.
Pieces of shit.
Yeah, they would never do that to Sean Mooney. Sean Mooney wouldn't even play that. Maybe to Rob Bartlett, possibly. But I don't think they would have ever done that to anyone else. And then they take this poor interviewer and shove his face into Knobs' armpit going into this match. This is the Nasty Boys taking on the Headshrinkers. We saw a fun little match from them on Monday Night Raw that ended up in a quote-unquote concession stand full of mustard. So I look for more of that here. Possibly not the mustard, but the brawling. But yeah, getting back to the Nasty Boys being gone, they were reportedly unruly here on this European tour, which no shock. And as you just saw, and they were suspended upon returning home and basically fired shortly thereafter. The Nasties claim different. They claim, no, we asked for our release. We wanted to go to WCW where we were promised this, that, and the other. Take your pick on who you believe there. But it's good to see that they're on their way out. And
thank God.
Although I will say, I went on record, I've said that before, I like their babyface turn on Jimmy Hart. I bought into it initially. I don't think the matches with Money Incorporated were very exciting. But the stuff here with the Headshrinkers, right up the Nasty Boys alley, it's entertaining to throw on a show. After this, I don't know what they would have or could have done, though, so it's probably for the best that they're gone. After April here, they did record a couple of matches on TV tapings before leaving, so we'll see them probably a couple more times early on in May, but for all intents and purposes, this is the one of the last matches of the Nasty Boys in the WWF.
Thank God for that. I was never a fan. I never liked them. I never cared for them. I enjoy their stuff with like Harlem Heat and WCW. I think that it's not bad. But and now the more I know about them, absolutely no thanks. I'm good.
Yeah. So while we're killing time here, as this match is getting set to go, let me run down my memory lane of the Nasty Boys. The first time I saw them, it was basically their debut in the NWA in 1990. And they worked the Steiners there, and that shit was awesome. I gotta say that much. But it was them eating German suplexes and things, and then stiffing the Steiners back, basically. But those were some good matches. And then it fell apart. They went to the WWF. I immediately thought they were awful, boring. I don't know. I don't know if it's because they were trying to work the WWF style or what it was. I hate that Bret Hart says like his greatest tag team match was against the Nasty Boys at WrestleMania 7. I don't see it. I don't get it. It was okay. It was okay at best. He's always putting the Nasty Boys over, that match over. I don't understand it. Maybe he loves them so much because that was when they lost the titles and Bret finally went into singles permanently. So maybe that's why he remembers that match fondly. Like, I finally get to dump the anvil. Maybe that's what the deal is there. But I hated the Nasty Boys in the WWF. I found them so boring. When they lost, or when they beat the Hart Foundation at Mania 7, blew my mind. I didn't see it coming. I didn't even expect someone their caliber, in my mind, the caliber they were, to beat the Hart Foundation, let alone win the WWF tag team titles.
Terrible.
Yeah.
It's not better than SummerSlam 90. There's no way. Absolutely no way.
Well, I could name, a dozen matches off the top of my head. Hart Foundation
matches. You're just going to go tag team matches, like, Bret's drunk. There's no way that's his best tag match when he had numerous matches with teams like the Bulldogs, Demolition, the Rockers. Like, there's so many teams that are a million times better than the Nasty Boys. Maybe, and it's not even like, oh, we put on the best match. I'm like, no, you didn't. Like, it's not even like that. Like, there's a WrestleMania and we put on the best match on the card. You can't even make that argument when you got Savage and Warrior on there. So there's no way that could be the narrative.
Wow, that was different. Samoans do their little signature hand gestures to one another, and then the Nasties do the same thing and then slap their asses in Samu's direction. And Samu doesn't like it, so off we go.
So, yeah, I don't know what Bret's smoking. Some
good
shit, pal.
It was great shit. It was with Billy Nelson, I'm sure. That's the night Knobs gave away his tag title to Willie Nelson in the trailer afterwards.
Oh, Lord.
They've been in the company, 3 months, 4 months, maybe? and this guy's getting the WWF tag title and handing it away to Willie Nelson. I mean, it's the Nasty Boys in a nutshell. Nice bump by Samu.
Samu eating the post.
Yeah, instead of taking the turnbuckle shot, he jumped over the turnbuckle and hit the post.
It's crazy to think Samu's like 10, 11 years deep in his run here. He was the third Samoan with Alpha and Sika. It's so crazy. Back
when Gorilla would call him Samula for what unknown reason, I don't know. It's just Gorilla being Gorilla, I guess. Had to create a little extra story there.
He's picking his nose. That's tasteful.
Yeah, well.
That's just Alpha's about to eat it.
Well, they're talking to the shrunken head here, which I think at one point Bobby Heenan refers to as Sika. So I thought that was a cool reference when Bobby references Sika. Alpha talking to Sika. That's not Sika.
Oh, Lord. I love the Samoans, though.
Now they're going to headbutt the hell out of each other, and the Nasties just watch on. I'm more entertained watching the Samoans hit each other than I am watching the Nasty Boys on the offense, though, so I'm not going to complain here.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'll take it. I mean, even though Knobs was working a little bit there, he was actually moving and exerting some energy. So,
yeah, I felt the Nasty Boys as baby faces. That's what I said. I could stand them. I could tolerate them as the baby face Nasty Boys. The heel Nasty Boys, they were just slow and boring. Yes, and methodical makes it sound like they purposely or they know what they're doing, like a Randy Orton or something like that. No, they're just terrible and lazy.
Yeah, their gimmick seems like a heel gimmick, but they work so much better as faces, like you just said. When you can go fast and hype up the crowd and just get behind you, they look like they're competent at what they're doing. But when you're heel and you're going slow and you have no clue, you just go from armbar to headlock to wrist lock and slow. Like, here we go. As soon as I mention it, but it just doesn't seem like they know what they're doing. And look at Sags here running the ropes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're a little up tempo as the babyface team, and they know they got to come out here and work when you're working with the Headshrinkers. If you're working with the SST, you're going to have to come out here and do something.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because it's right back to Nastyville for Knobs and Sags. It's when they head to WCW.
You get Missy Hyatt.
Oh man, do they ever! Holy cow! Some of those outfits during that period for Missy.
Oh man! So I'm sure you've read her book, and that's what happened with the lawsuit, which is just mind-boggling, man. And for those who haven't read it, I guess at one of the pay-per-views, her tits popped out,
right?
And somebody got a picture of it, and she went to the offices one day, and there it was, like blown up into a poster, right outside the door of one of the execs in the company, like her tits just there for everybody to see, and she's like, and that was it. Like, she was done, and basically she wraps up that part of the book by saying, "We'll just say I got a lot of money, and that's all I can say about it." And
I wonder how much that actually bothered her, other than not getting paid for it.
There's one thing, like if you're going around posing nude on like your website or whatever, doing your thing, and that's your choice, and that's you're doing it on your terms. But even though you're okay with being naked, like I'd be pretty pissed too if I walked in and there I am naked, and for the whole company to see, like, this is your boss. And
so I saw that story when it initially happened. It was on like one of those old shows, like A Current Affair or Hard Copy or one of those.
Really?
Yeah. So wow. I saw it as it was unfolding. Like, cause I would always, where did Missy Hyatt go? I didn't, there was no observer for me back in like 94 or whatever that would have been by the time this aired. And
did you think
certainly
it was
not
work?
No. I thought she had now looking back then I'm like, wow, that's fucked up. Cause I didn't know Missy was as promiscuous as she was until till I was like later in the teenager phase, and I started getting shoot interviews. Then I'm like, wow, when Jack Victory's telling stories about the jokes they would say to Missy back in Dallas, way before she ever made it to the, Crockett or whatever, where they'd say, "Here comes Missy with the big pussy," and they said that back in the mid '80s, right? So I mean, think about that. But when I'm watching her on Hard Copy or Current Affair, whatever it was, and like I'm assuming sometime in early '94, she's calling herself Melissa Hyatt, and she's crying. She's got tears in her eyes, and she's doing this. But when I look back and watch it now, it looks like crocodile tears to me. It's like they don't know that I'm acting, so I really deserve this money. But that's Missy, and she does deserve it. They were stupid enough to do it, and if she can get paid for it, I'm down with that.
Yeah, I am too. Like I said, you can be naked and be free and do whatever you want to do, but that's on your terms. And if somebody's exposing you like that, showing off and making jokes, and that's shitty. Like that's no matter which way you slice it, that's pretty bad.
Afa getting some offense in here on Sags on the outside as the Headshrinkers take over. Oh shit! Afa blasted a wooden chair over the back of Sags out there. I think that's more than Afa's done in his entire run that I recall here in the WWF.
As a manager, yeah, I don't recall him ever getting involved with the opponents.
Which is odd because Afa was basically still a capable, hand. I mean, he could. I don't think he could go in the ring like the Fatu or Samu, but he's clearly in enough ring shape here that he can. Right.
Yeah. He doesn't look too far off from the other two, like as far as ring shape and physical appearance. Like he doesn't look. I don't know how much older he is.
Well, I mean, he's got to be at least 20 some years older, I would have to think. But really, the point here too is you don't have to bump to swing a chair or to throw a clothesline or something. So it's odd that Afa, of all the managers, didn't really get to do a whole lot of offense in the matches. Not that he really needed to either. That might be it. Because Samu and Fatu, man, they were pretty tough guys.
Yeah, you're not gonna mess with them. They're pretty awesome.
They're getting the heat on Samu here. They've done some snug moves here, and I'm sure the Nasty Boys are eating it up. They love getting beat up, so they can do it right back to you.
Yeah, that's their calling card. Oh, you're gonna stiff me? Well, you're getting it back. So
Samu misses the diving headbutt, and it may be hot tag time to Brian Knobbs. Yeah, we'll see what Knobbs can do here if Sags can get over and make that tag. He's crawling. Get
your ass over there, Sags.
Fatu tagged in, and here we go. Hot tag to Knobbs. It's Knobbs and Fatu in the ring now. And possibly heading into the finish, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Back body drop.
What a maneuver.
The
ref getting in the way here. Danny needs to get the hell out of Dodge. Oh.
Inside
Tried
out.
to go inside out and he couldn't. That almost looked better than going inside out.
Yeah, but not on purpose. Now let's see if they sell man, they sold the DDT. Shame on the Headshrinkers for selling Nasty Boy DDTs. Stereo DDTs from Knobbs and Sags, yeah.
They just went to the outside away.
They didn't jump up, though. I mean, they rolled out of the ring.
Oh, he's tossing chairs.
Oh, no. Here we go. There's chairs everywhere. Steel chairs, wooden chairs. Oh, man. Let's listen to this. Holy shit. Break it.
Yes.
C'est pas possible, écoute ça. C'est pas possible. Des chaises en bois.
Now that is raw, Steve. Holy shit. They broke 3 chairs over the back of the Nasty Boys.
That blue chair, the seat came out before you could swing it, but man, he swung it anyway, and the back of it just nailed Knobbs.
I love it. This is great. This is good shit, pal. That's what I was talking about, man. Right there. I was hoping we'd get something. And that didn't disappoint. That was worth the whole...
It's not over.
Oh, there's more.
They picked up the remnants here.
Oh, in the face!
Oh! Juste devant nous, en bas ici.
Plante-toi, Raymond, plante-toi.
Oh, Sags picked up the...
Oh, my God! Holy shit!
Par-dessus, là.
Ils vont prendre ta chaise, Raymond, ils vont prendre ta chaise. Accroche-toi.
Non, mais ça demande des officiels ici pour faire la séparation. Ça se dégénère.
Guys, if you're not watching this along with us, do yourself a favor. At least go watch the end of the Nasty Boys Headshrinkers match. Oh. These guys are hitting each other in the face with chairs for real. Sags nails Samu in the face with a chair. Samu does the backflip over the guardrail. Holy shit. Oh my God. That's what I was talking about.
In the leg too. Holy shit.
Knobs had a broken chair. He was just swinging the legs at Fatu. Insane, man. Just absolutely crazy. This is why I wouldn't have minded if they stuck around a little while longer and we got another like match like this on a pay-per-view.
Too bad they didn't do like street fights or Memphis brawls that pay-per-views back in the day, because this would have been... Sags really got hit, bro. He's selling it. Like, he's having a hard time walking back to the ring.
Can you imagine? Well, it's clear these guys didn't do this every night. There's no way they would have been walking by the end of the
arm. He's holding his arm.
Well, justifiably so.
Yep. You reap what you sow.
Anything the Nasty Boys get, I feel like they have it coming. Man, yeah, I've never seen so many chairs break, and I want to say they weren't gimmicked, but maybe some of them were, but that's a lot of... They're pulling chairs from everywhere, though. Not just at ringside.
Yeah, I don't think that's gimmicked.
They were just swinging for the fences on their faces. Unbelievable. As we cut to a Mr. Fuji promo, I'll do you a favor, and we won't listen to the audio here. But it's Mr. Fuji.
Those chairs were like that one that Ming took on Saturday night.
Yeah, over the head, the old Big Bubba spot. Dusty rebooking the old Big Bubba spot with Ming. Yeah, I remember that.
And that's what these chairs were, and those chairs look a lot thicker than a regular wooden chair or folding chair. So, yeah, I'm sure that shit hurt.
So you'll remember the main event tonight is Yokozuna taking on Hacksaw. Here we have Mr. Fuji cutting a promo with Yoko out in front of the Eiffel Tower. I think the gist of that promo was something along the lines of Yokozuna's bigger than the Eiffel Tower, which maybe by the end of '96, that's possibly true.
That shit looks comfortable. This dude looks relaxed. He's enjoying himself.
Raymond Rougeau gets to come over and show his commentary skills. I think they're going to cut to a Mr. Perfect promo here in a couple seconds. Here we go.
Celui qui se prétend parfait et qui affrontera tout à l'heure le sublime de narcissiste, Lex Luger, Mr. Perfect. How perfect do you plan to be with the narcissist tonight?
I plan to be perfect every day of my life. You got a problem with that?
La question posée est évidemment comment parfait pensait-il être dans son match avec Lex Luger, et sa réponse, je suis toujours parfait en somme. Don't you fear Lex Luger forearm?
I know about Lex Luger's forearm, but I'm ready for it. I'm perfect.
Alors il connaît effectivement le coup de Lex Luger avec son avant-bras, mais il est parfait. Do you have any strategy in your match with Lex Luger?
Yeah, I'm going to be perfect.
And that was a baby face. These guys are just taking advantage of this poor interviewer. Hennig takes the do-rag or whatever the hell that was off the top of his head and sneezes into it. I was going to make a comment. I was watching and Hennig kept playing with his nose. I'm like, somebody did a lot of coke today, but apparently it was all up for that joke there at the end. Hennig sneezing into this poor interviewer's skullet type thing there going on.
I don't think they realize that he's asking the question and they need to answer, and then he's translating and then going to the next question. I don't think they're picking up on what he's doing.
Well, I think you got to remember they were also airing on the Spanish channel, Telemundo, in fact, prior to this even. And I got Telemundo on my cable stations back in the late 80s, early 90s. So I would actually watch Superstars. Yes, I did. I would watch the American version, and then later on in the day, I would watch the same exact episode, or maybe it was a week behind, I can't remember, but I would turn it on Telemundo and watch the Spanish version, because instead of event centers, you got promos from the wrestlers who were being interviewed by, I think it was Miguel Alonso or someone like that, and he would talk in Spanish to the Spanish people, but he spoke really well English too, and then he would ask the question to the wrestler in English, but a lot of times the wrestlers, like they're doing here, Steve, would have a lot of fun with the foreign announcers. So I remember some with Rick Rude and some other guys that would really just... Bobby Heenan had a lot of fun, as you can imagine, with those guys.
I can only imagine.
So it was always fun. That's what I watched it for. That and the Big Boss Man wearing his Big Boss Man t-shirt trying to sell WWF merchandise in Spanish. That was always good times. If anybody out there has any of the 89, 90, 91 WWF stuff on Telemundo or the Spanish, whatever Spanish channel you may have gotten it on, I would love to get a copy of that stuff. I haven't seen that stuff in more than 30 years.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah. Hennig bringing Luger in the hard way as we get started here between the Narcissist and Mr. Perfect. This is the last match on part 1 of the Paris, France show, guys. So when this ends, we're going to go right into part 2. We're going to pull up that video, and we're going to count you down again for part 2. 3 more matches still to come, including Yokozuna and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I purposely didn't mention the other 2.
Yeah, there's no need to mention the other 2. Oh, man.
Well, there's already more action in this Hennig and Luger match than there was at WrestleMania 9. I'll say that.
Yeah, just a little bit. They seem to be on top of their game a little bit here tonight. So
Lex taking bumps. He came to work tonight.
Mr. Perfect rocking that neon orange looking color.
Hell yeah.
I always loved his color choices.
You can't go wrong with neon. Slap in the face of Luger.
No, you can't go wrong with neon at all. You're just going to stick out like $1,000,000. The green, the blue, the orange.
The yellow.
Yep.
He's kicking the leg of Luger. Usually it's the other way around. The opponent kicking the leg of Hennig. Luger not bumping like Hennig, though. Yeah.
No, no, definitely not. He's kicking his leg out of his leg.
That's right.
I feel so bad for Owen. Like his biggest moment of his career, he does that, and then at WrestleMania 10, he has that phlegm or foam from his mouth, right under his nose or whatever.
Right, yeah, next to his lip.
Promo. And I'm like, man, your 2 biggest promos and something terribly wrong in both of them. And it's like, only Owen.
And it's funny you point those out because, whoever I was watching those with at the time, I remember we were getting a laugh out of them as they were happening. And now they're big, giant things. They're big, huge things online. There's memes and all kinds of other things with the leg out of your leg. And Jason Sensation, if you remember that name, when he was trying to break into the company, when he was working down in Memphis, I was watching, I don't know if it's Power Pro or they moved over to Memphis Championship Wrestling, but he's out there and there was a little group. I can't remember who else was in the group. It would be names though. And he's cutting a promo and he purposely says, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg. And I popped, Steve, because I knew, like, oh my God, somebody else recited the Owen line. And this is a long line. This is 20 years ago. So it was, I was like, holy shit, he did that on purpose.
Yeah. Jason Sensation was hilarious.
Luger, let's see if Hennig takes any of Luger's tassels off his mud flaps there over his trunks. For those who don't know, the story goes Hennig used to screw with Luger by just taking 1 or 2 tassels off of the mud flaps there, for lack of a better term, than hang on Luger's trunks. Just a couple every night, and it would drive Luger nuts. Where did all my tassels go?
Could you imagine him do it on the European tour, and by the time he's done, they're all gone?
Yeah, that would have been
his
great.
Last night, he has no tassels hanging on his trunks anymore,
and he still hasn't figured it out.
Pissed off. The whole left side of his tassels are gone.
I'll give these guys this much: this match is leaps and bounds better than their WrestleMania 9 match. They're go. It's been constant offense from Perfect and now Luger. Luger even hitting a trifecta of rapid elbow drops. That's a new one from the Total Packet, or the Narcissist, I should say.
Yeah. The match at Mania started off pretty decent. Like they were working, and then the wheels fell off when Luger had to take over. So you can tell here these guys are locked in and they know what they're doing this time.
Yeah, I would encourage people to check this one out if you wanted to see what the match was supposed to look like. Oh, there's the axe. He hit him so hard Luger didn't bump. There's the chop.
You're not going to take my axe? Eat this chop.
Well, if one thing Hennig's proved here in 93 He knows how to throw a chop.
And he can monkey flip. There he goes, pulling down his trunks. He's probably ripping off some tassels right there.
The old Ric Flair, Rick Rude spot there. The sunset flip by Hennig, pulling down the trunks of Luger in the process.
Oh, he ate it again.
Chest first into the corner. That was not Bret Hart style, but it was good for Lex Luger. Hennig going to catapult him now. Oh, face first into the buckle.
Oh.
There's the axe. Down he goes. And he dropped the strap. He means business now. Are we already into the comeback? That's the question, because Hennig is going nuts here on Luger.
I think so. Just looking at the time, they didn't get very long. Shawn and Backlund get 13 minutes, and this match gets half of that. Like, what are we doing?
Well, unfortunately, that's how the openers works. And I'm not saying Shawn is a bad worker by any means.
No.
But
nice
usually your opening matches were the bad matches or the long, boring. Look at this. Well, that wasn't perfect. Somebody doesn't know how to do a Russian leg sweep. Gonna have to let Virgil teach him how to do it. Hennig took the free arm and hooked it behind his back to execute the Russian leg sweep there on Luger. That was pretty rough looking.
Well, Bob can get taught the swinging neck breaker by Perfect.
Yeah, he needs to learn how to, by anyone, really. Damien DeMento. No, not Damien DeMento. Never mind.
Just take a back bump, Bob, and it'll look better.
Yeah, Bob was not having any back bumps other than that body slam. Well, that was a interesting collision. The two run into each other, and Hennig goes spinning through the air. Both guys down on the mat. So you know what that means. We got to be just moments away from the finish.
Getting there.
Referee counting both guys down. Again, remember, this is the final match on part 1. We're going to start part 2 up right away. So make sure you head over to the links and queue up part 2. Hennig with he tried for the O'Connor roll. Luger kicks out.
That was ugly.
Yeah, it wasn't. Not so perfect. Lex with the back suplex and a bridge. 2, 3. The match is over. Lex thinks he's won, but I clearly saw Mr. Perfect get his shoulder up. Now the question is, did the referee? Lex celebrating like the heel that he is. Luger believes he's won it. I don't know what kind of a ring announcer we have here. Let's see if they make the announcement. Well, that was fast and easy. Mr. Perfect did get the win. The referee did see the shoulder. Luger now outside, coming after the ref. Now, Hennig celebrating. So Luger already doing the job to Mr. Perfect.
Surprising.
But I'll take it. Luger arguing with Joey Morella up the aisleway. But fair is fair. Lex Luger going to have to live to fight another day. They're going to show the replay here. Here we go. A different angle. Here's that. Why do we need to see this roll up again? Ugh. Could have done without that. And we go into the back suplex here by Luger. Yeah, here it is. Oh, nice. The camera's going to be right at the shoulders. 1, 2, shoulder up, 3.
You notice Luger had to lay his shoulder down? Because he had his shoulder up on the hold, like lifting the leg up. And he laid it down so Hennig can get his up.
All right, guys, that'll conclude part 1. And we're going to roll right into part 2 here. All right, guys, if you need time to pull up part 2 of this Paris, France show, you can pause the show right now. For those who are ready to roll, we are too. So we're going to count you down, and we're going to start watching part 2 of Paris, France, the WWF, April 8th, 1993. And 3, 2, 1, press play. And we get the opening video again as the show continues on. Kamala getting ready to take on his former handler, Kimchee, so even the Brooklyn Brawler gets to make the trip on the European tour here this year. And there he is, Kimchee in the ring. No Slick here, I don't believe, Steve. He doesn't make the European tour, and then we know he's gone from the company by the end of April. We hear that promo, or by the beginning of May, Vince McMahon announces on Raw that Slick says there's nothing else he can do for Kamala. Just a week after Slick taught him to say amen. So that must be it. Once I teach you to say amen, there's nothing else I can do for you, Kamala.
Yeah, I guess so. Amen. That's all you need to know. You teach him how to talk, I guess. Now you're free.
So Slick takes
Slick.
He takes the one-man gang and turns him into some parody of what would be an African. And then he takes a parody of what would be an African in Kamala and makes him a man. So he's getting things right in his life as the Slickster on the way out the door anyway.
I guess. I love the Doctor style.
I like that we got one final strut from Slick at that March to WrestleMania 9 show. After Kamala defeated Kimchee on that show, Slick took Kimchee's hat, put it on, and did a little Doctor of Style dancing. So that was a nice little reminiscing of the times of old.
The good old days.
Yes.
See, now Kamala doesn't have Slick, so Kimchee thinks he can get him back under his spell and under his control again.
Oh, you're following the storyline here in this match. Kimchee ordering Kamala to come to him. Kamala slowly listening. I don't know how long this is going to last, though. I just hope for our sake the bell has already sounded and this is part of the match.
Yeah, I hope so, too.
Kamala's still wearing his mask, by the way. That's what I love. Aw, Kimchee made him take it off. Boo! Heel heat.
Oh, jeez.
Kimchee's pretty much gone. The character's pretty much, obviously, Lombardi's there for many years to come. But the character of Kimchee's pretty much played out. I think he does a couple things on TV still after this. But Kamala will linger around for just a little while longer. We don't really get to see Kamala do much after he makes the babyface turn.
Oh, he's got slapped in the face.
Uh-oh. Kimchee shoving the Ugandan giant. Is he still the Ugandan giant? Since he's...
I have no clue.
I was slapping him again. Oh, you're going to pay for that. I'd love nothing more. Oh, now he attacks Kamala in the corner. I would have loved nothing more for Kamala just to have chopped him back, hit the splash, and took it home. But it looks like we're going to get some offense here. Well, maybe not. Oh, Kamala misses an avalanche immediately, and Kimchee off the ropes with a clothesline.
Oh, right into a bear hug.
Bear hug by Kamala.
Some ugly punches. Wow.
What do you think they could have done, if anything, to have utilized Kamala as a babyface here? Was there just nothing you could do? Did he have to become a comedy act, do you think?
Yeah, I have no clue. I don't know what I would do with Kamala if I was running a company as a babyface. I mean, he can get the reaction and he's good at what he's doing, but other than, like, this is probably what you could do as a face. I don't know how you have a Ugandan giant or, you know, an African warrior be a babyface. I just don't
go
see how
bowling.
you do it. Yeah, like I don't know. I can't think of anything that I could do with him.
And for those old school guys out there, they're probably like, well, you could do that. There's been, several cases you can use over time of monster heels that went babyface on their former manager or their former sidekick or friend or partner or whatever. And yeah, it does work short term. If Kimchee was actually somebody that was relevant or over or could cut a promo, then you have something here short term. But that's what happened in the territory. You had this monster heel. He made the babyface turn. He got revenge, but then there's nothing else for him. But it was the territory. Exactly. It was the territories. He could leave. Go do it somewhere else. Here in the WWF, you're here to stay typically. So where do you go? And it's like you said, there is nowhere to go. And when Kimchee is your opponent, that's really not saying a whole lot for Kamala. His ending to the WWF run here was etched in stone, I'd say.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like the whole gimmick is him getting revenge on his handler, and so after that, there's nothing else for him. Like, you're not gonna put him in another like really the only thing you could do is just kind of do a different story where he gets beat up by somebody. He's trying to get his comeback, but that just makes him look weak, and it takes away from his look and what he's supposed to be. So you can only do that so many times before people just like, okay, who's going to beat him up next time? And then he has to get his revenge. So it's a one-trick pony, and you move him out once they get their revenge on the built-in storyline. But he did get a match out of Undertaker. He wrestled him a couple times on a couple pay-per-views, so his run wasn't terrible for him as far as what he was making. And and things like that.
Well, he's passed away since then, but he's mentioned what he was making, and that was a major issue there during that time. I can't remember what it was, but I know his SummerSlam payoff, much like Nails, who complained about his SummerSlam payoff. A lot of people did in '92, but I guess his SummerSlam payoff was maybe like 5% of whatever the Undertaker got for the same exact match. And I get it's the Undertaker, but you're still working the match, and it was
that's crazy.
It was a real small amount, but
feel bad for him.
Yeah, but here he is. He has to sell for Kimchee. So here's this Ugandan savage who was wrestling, feuding with the Undertaker, like you said, and now he's relegated to getting beat up by his handler, who we never saw wrestle, we never saw fight. He never came off as tough. There's no excuse why. We've never even been told why he wears a mask either, other than so we can hide the fact that he's the Brooklyn Brawler.
Yeah, it's better if it's a tag team, something like that. Heck, we went over this. Who did Teddy Long? Okay, I was trying to remember who Norman turned on.
Yes,
but it was Teddy Long. But Teddy Long had some guys in his camp that he could bring in to take out Norman for leaving him.
Right.
That's a little different than Kimchee being the actual guy that he's getting the revenge on. If it was like Harvey Whippleman who brought in people and let's say, oh Lord, Giant Gonzalez, but
what a match!
I'm just saying, like maybe
see that across the ring from you, Giant Gonzalez and Kamala.
Yeah, no thanks.
And there's Kamala making his comeback.
But
no, I get what you're saying.
If you do like a stable, you bring in a guy. Okay, Kamala gets through him. Kamala gets through the next guy, and then you can prolong it maybe 6-7 months, and then you finally bring in this big guy that finally takes Kamala out, and you can just send him on his way.
And I think we get something like that. Not runs Kamala. Well, here we go. This match is over if Kamala can ever figure out how to turn Kimchee over. He's already hit the splash to the back of Kimchee. He's turning him every which way. And I think he might finally get it. There's no Slick to help, so he's going to have to hope he speaks French.
Joey Morel is helping him.
There you go. Roll him over. 1, 2, 3. Kamala finally picks up the win there. That wasn't too bad, I think, because we had things to talk about over top of this match. It was just a whole lot of chin lock there from Kimchee, but Kamala makes the fast comeback. The big splash ends that one. 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Much longer than their match on March to WrestleMania. I think that went like not even 3 minutes. Oh,
popped him already. You think he's gonna put the hat on and strut?
Oh, I would love that. There's no Slick, but that would be phenomenal. Kamala, put it on, Kamala. Beats Kimchee down with his hat, and let's do it. Oh, there's the hat. Oh, there's the walk.
It is.
Oh, he's patting his belly. I love it. That's Kamala's so awesome.
Ringing the dinner bell.
I've said it so many times, even though
so damn funny.
It was years removed from when I knew wrestling was a work. It's years removed from when I even bought people as characters. Kamala was the last character I bought, even though I knew he wasn't Kamala. I didn't want to see him outside of the Kamala gimmick because I loved it so much. And then I finally broke down and watched his shoot interview when it came out, and I'm like, well, that sucked. I should have never done that. Damn it.
Was it bad?
No, the interview, I mean, he's fine. I can no longer picture him as Kamala now that I've seen him as Jim Harris. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I got you. I just didn't know if it was one of those boring shoot type interviews.
No, I always enjoyed Kamala, and I got to ride with him after that and speak with him and things, but he was always a nice guy.
That's what people say. He's a real good dude. Diabetes, man.
Well,
it's
I thought
rough shit.
It is. You know what else is rough shit? This upcoming match here, and I haven't even seen it yet, and I'm predicting it's rough shit.
I don't even want to see it. It's time to yawn again.
Typhoon taking on Damien DeMento. Yes, this is the bathroom break match because it's on before the main event.
Yeah, if you guys need to go to the restroom, I wouldn't hold against you.
So this is a match, and it's apparently going to happen. I'm waiting for the lights to fall down out of the sky and land in the ring on these two, but no, it looks like we're actually going to see a match here. Not that I wish physical harm on anyone, but If it ends this match early, I'm down for it. We're not too far away from Typhoon. Well, it's April, and it's only the summer's right around the corner, and Typhoon will be appearing in the WCW very soon as the Shockmasters. And Damien DeMento, I think he's gone from the company by the end of the summer. So neither one of these guys.
His Typhoon looks smaller here.
I was thinking the same exact thing. Yeah, it looks like he's
his gut is nowhere.
Looks like Hacksaw found Typhoon's gut in the last month or so.
Well, good for him.
Yeah. So Typhoon
he
losing
looks
a little weight.
Smaller. Holy shit! Even from Royal Rumble.
Yeah. He probably knew he was on his way out the door, and he talked to his brother-in-law Dusty, and he said, "Lose a little weight, baby F. Come on, down to WCW. I'll give you a big gimmick.
We'll put you in War Games."
Yeah, and then you debut and you fuck the whole thing up.
Oh man, what a stupid idea. Anyway, let's be real.
There you see Typhoon adjusting his singlet because he's lost weight, and it's kind of fallen down on him a little bit there. He's not used to that. Toot!
Oh man, good old Typhoon.
Yeah, Tugboat never worked for me, but when he turned into Typhoon, I longed for Tugboat to come back.
I think you're not a fan of the old natural disasters, huh?
No, and I loved Earthquake, but not so much the natural disasters. No, definitely not a fan of the heel natural disasters. And what a team to turn on. He turns on the fucking Bushwhackers. Like, that's gonna get you over.
Tell right there, they just didn't give a shit about what this was gonna be. They didn't give a shit about Tugboat.
So in 1990 SummerSlam, Earthquake was in the ring with Hulk Hogan because he basically almost ended Hulkamania over the course of the summer. Fast forward 1 year later, Earthquake is at SummerSlam 91 working the Bushwhackers. Yeah, that.
Oh my God. Life comes at you fast.
Yeah, and I can't imagine what was going through John Tenta's mind during that whole situation. Like, I was working Hogan last year. What the fuck went wrong? You got teamed up with Tugboat. That's what the fuck went wrong.
Man, I took some nasty-ass chair shots to the back, too. You're going to do this to me? Oh, my God. I'm surprised they didn't go to a Boss Man feud after that.
It would have been bad. I mean, we saw them worked a few times on TV on those USA specials. I think they worked a couple times, actually, on TV.
I would have liked to have seen like an angle after that SummerSlam.
It would have been good. They're both big guys. It would have worked. They're both they're agile for their sizes. It would have been nice. It would have been good. The only thing bad about that is I feel like Quake would have went over in the end, and I wouldn't have been happy with that.
Yeah, I know Bossman had the stuff with Rude coming up and the Heenan family and that sort of stuff. So it would have took away from Bossman's like IC title push, but I think at the end of the day, it would have been pretty good as an easy way to parlay a feud. Oh, he wasn't necessarily going here, but damn, he got you good. Let's let you get some comeback or their payback, and then turn this into something. I should put him on the Survivor Series team and took care of it there.
I agree. I should mention that Earthquake's been gone for a couple months now. Rick Rude's been gone for 3 years now, and we're still talking about that rather than this match here, which you can thank us for that later. It was just Damien DeMento using a chin lock, and that's about it.
I think he's talked to his hand more than he's done anything in this ring. And you're a heel. Why are you asking? I guess you can get a little heat on you, but God, he's terrible.
Why is he asking the fans? He should be looking up in the sky and talking to whoever that is that he talks to. That would have made more sense, but I'm not going to tell him how to do his gimmick. So we know what happens with Typhoon after this. Gimmick. He goes on to become the Shockmaster and Uncle Fred and winds up back here in the WWF for a little bit. And yeah, but what happens with Damien DeMento? He just disappears after this. I know he popped up on YouTube like 10 years ago or something and cut all those crazy heel promos on the WWE, but that's about that. I don't know that he does anything else. What happened was he exposed himself here in the WWF. So WCW saw what he could or couldn't do, and they're like, I'm not hiring that guy. I don't care what he looks like. And even Paul Heyman's like, I can't make that work in ECW.
I'm surprised Heyman didn't bring him in to get killed by 911.
Oh, that was terrible. Oh, that would have been a good one if they could find him by that point. Look at these awesome. He's going up to the middle rope and coming off. What's he going to do here? With an elbow that looked like it missed by about a half a foot.
Oh, he's doing it again.
He's out of moves. He's going to do it a third time.
He's going to get caught.
Yeah. Well, telegraph
Typhoon,
that one.
If he was a halfway decent wrestler, you would have been able to catch him in a power slam there. You bum.
I feel an avalanche
look
coming up
singlet,
here.
Though, like you said, though, like look at it. It's like riding up and it's flopping around. Like, yeah, he clearly lost a ton of weight. That's good on Fred. I never seen him so small.
Too bad he staggers his way into WC. There's an avalanche in the corner.
I will say his big splash. I always enjoyed his big splash. I thought he got up pretty high for his size.
Yeah, I bought that as nice power slam. There's a power 1, 2, 3. That's it. Doesn't even have to do the splash. It's a power slam that ends Damien DeMento. He's like, it's Damien DeMento. I don't even have to use my finisher. Typhoon picks up the win here. That wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be because they kept it short. 6 minutes and 25 seconds. I got to say, some of these guys that are typically, they like to lay around and use the rest holds, like Typhoon here, other than that chin lock from DeMento, these guys picked up the pace here on this show. The Nasty Boys, Typhoon, some of the other guys, they're working a little harder than usual, and believe me,
Luger
I appreciate
and Perfect
it.
Even.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luger and Perfect even worked real fast. So...
Well, I would have done that to make up for WrestleMania 9. Oh, yeah. As the tour goes on, I'm sure things slow down quite a bit. This is also airing on French television as well, so they got to look good as we get ready for the main event here. It's going to be Yokozuna, the former WWF champion for all of a couple minutes. Yokozuna taking on Hacksaw, the guy he put out just after the Royal Rumble on TV. Hacksaw was out for a couple months, selling the injury of, I think it was like 4 bonsai drops, but he's back, and he's back in a singlet. And Yoko making his way out. So this is main event time. And for you guys wondering what's going to happen after this, at the end of part 2 here of this Paris, France show here in the next 10 minutes or whatever it might be, we're going to give you guys another second to click on the next link. We're going to open up Milan, Italy. And it's some good matches there as well. I know the Steiners taking on the Money Incorporated. Yokozuna actually leaves Group A after Group A goes home. Yokozuna stays in Europe and works some of the tour with The Undertaker, which I'm sure The Undertaker was grateful for because that meant he didn't have to wrestle the Giant Gonzalez.
Yeah, I'm sure he's happy to work with his buddy here.
But some other good matches coming up. Bret Hart taking on Bam Bam Bigelow. Of course, we'll see that at King of the Ring as well. Didn't want to spoil that for anyone, but I would imagine most people know that by now. Nice drawing there.
Cool drawing.
Yeah, of Yoko and Hacksaw. Yeah, good job. French artist. Maybe Frenchie Martin?
Definitely possible.
And here comes old Duggan making his way. Let's see what the crowd does in France for Mr. USA.
There's this dude waving the flag right there.
What's that?
There's a guy waving the USA flag right there.
Well, the Americans there. There you go, Hacksaw Jim Duggan out there in his new red, white, and blue singlet. And matching knee pads. Surprised he sprung for all that after all the blue trunks for all those years.
Man, they came out with a figure of his, Mattel did, and they put every single one of his gimmicks in one action figure. So you got his Ho t-shirt, his 2x4, of course. He's wearing the singlet. He has the red, white, and blue knee pads. And they give him the King's crown. So, pretty much everything is covered.
Yeah, the only thing missing sounds like the Demolition face paint mask. They could have given him a mask for that or something. Then he would have had everything.
Well, they did. Yeah, they did come out with one of those figures, which is surprising. Yeah. But they did.
Yeah, that was odd that they did that, but I love that they did that. I got that for my son. I'll use air quotes on that. I got it for my son, not myself, right?
Yeah.
So cool.
There's a SummerSlam series, so it's pretty cool that they did do the face paint. You can finish the team, I guess, if you want to pay out the ass for some demolition figures. So,
well, I guess I wish I still had those.
I had all three. I had all three of them, and I sold them, and now they're worth like $350. So,
oh, that's unfortunate.
Well, they were on that lawsuit, and they're like "F you," so they'll never be in WWE again on good terms, probably.
Right.
Unless somebody makes the call and try to figure it out, but. So what's out there as far as action figures? There's not going to be any more made. Whoa. What is Yoko wearing?
I told
All
you.
Black?
I think I talked about that a while ago. I saw it when I skimmed these, that he was wearing something different. And I couldn't remember the color, but yeah, all black. Yokozuna. Never seen that before,
cool.
Huh?
That is cool.
Yeah, Yoko,
oh, the red, that's clutch right there. The black and red string.
They need a Yoko figure like this, huh?
Yes, yeah. Let's
black
do it.
trunks and I'm not sure. I guess he has the black thong on there, and then those red strings, whatever they're called, hanging from the front.
Yeah, we need this. I'm gonna send a picture to Mattel. Hey guys, get on it.
Duggan trying to use the board. Whoa, well, there you go. Duggan tries to use the board immediately. The referee grabs it, and Yoko with a cheap shot to the throat.
Coming out with a new one of him, the Royal Rumble series. I think it's the 93 one again, the white one. But I want the red trunks and the white thong. That's the one I want.
The early Yoko,
but they've never released that. Very early Yoko. A couple squashes on Superstars. I think that's the only time he ever wore those.
Boom, Duggan. Duggan always threw some good punches, man. They were right there. Good wrestling punches. I'll say that.
What's cool is like Duggan's rocking the red, white, and blue, real bright, and Yoko's wearing the all black. It's like good versus evil, just in their colors, their color scheme here. I don't know if he did it on choice or if he's just experimenting here, but
this is pretty much it for the experimenting as far as Yokozuna's color coding goes. It's pretty much becomes the red and black from here forward.
Unfortunate. Lazy bum. Come on.
Yoko takes over here, and Duggan reaches out, tries to grab Fuji, and Yoko continues to work him over on the ropes now. So Hacksaw looking for revenge, but it's not working out too well for the tough guy quite yet here.
Imagine if when he turned face and in 96 and he started wearing like blue or something. Could you imagine Yoko in blue?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
I don't even know what that would look like either, but that would be kind of cool.
He's hacksawing up. It looks like here.
Already?
He's firing back on Yoko. Well, it is a Duggan versus Yokozuna match. I can't see this going entirely too long.
You know what? I bet Vince said, don't ever wear black again because he doesn't look as big. And I don't know if it's just because it's 93 and now all I remember is 96 Yoko, but...
Boom! There's the leg drop. Yeah, I
he just
agree.
Doesn't seem as big.
He does look a little smaller because of all the black, yeah. Yoko, I don't know what he's got left to do other than the bonsai here. He dropped the leg on. Duggan tried to make the comeback. Yoko dropped the leg. I'm not mocking Yoko like he doesn't have several other moves. I mean, I know he's got the thrust kick and stuff, but really...
belly to belly.
Yeah, the belly to belly. But there's not a whole lot left you can do to Duggan here without just basically beating him. The Hacksaw getting locked into the bear hug. Yokozuna is a lot of things, but just because he's large doesn't mean he's strong in regards to locking someone the size of Hacksaw in a bear hug.
Yeah,
I dare say
how big Duggan is.
I was going to say, I dare say Duggan's upper frame is bigger than Yoko's upper frame to a degree here.
His
I'm
arms
talking
and
about
neck and
the shoulders
head area. Yeah.
Yes.
Like his height too. He's making this is going to sound completely weird, but he's making Yoko look small.
Right. Yeah, and he does there. He looks much shorter than Duggan. Duggan does look like a big dude, which makes you buy this a little bit as Yoko takes him down with that right there.
That's why I know Starrcade 94 is like one of the worst, but I didn't mind him in Vader. I thought It was believable to me. Not,
well, he was
going to get US title.
He was going to get beat up by Vader one way or another. So, I mean, that's the only good Duggan match I can think of in his entire run in WCW. And that covered a lot of years.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fun little match. The rest of the card's kind of but if not downright terrible.
No, I remember when Duggan debuted, I hated him immediately because he had already served his purpose in the business as far as wrestling goes. And then he comes in and beats Austin in a matter of seconds. And I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't pop for that. I was very upset because I was a stunning Steve Austin guy from going back to Dallas on ESPN. So I was really upset that he goes and beats him like that. Then they like redo the rematch or whatever they do. And it's like a DQ or I don't even remember what the finish was, but it was clear Austin wasn't getting the title back. And then they go to the Vader match and I'm just like, man, kick his ass, Vader, kick his ass. And Vader's doing the inverted power bomb, all these things that Duggan never takes, but he has no choice to take them here. And I'm like, you know what? That wasn't a bad match. Duggan did pretty okay there. And then it's just all downhill from there forever.
For him and that show.
Yes. They opened with that match, if I remember correctly. And then it's just, that
was the opener. And then it was Alex Wright and Triple H.
Yeah, that was the show where I didn't have enough money on my own to get it, but my brother was over staying the night, and I got him to pay half. So we went in half on it, and we got the pay-per-view. And by the end of it, I was silent because I was thinking, does he realize this pay-per-view sucked and he just wasted his money, or is he cool? But he was cool with it because it wasn't often we got to sit down and watch a pay-per-view together in those years. And Duggan making the comeback now, big clotheslines. Can he knock the big guy down like he did way back in February is the question.
I got that on pay-per-view too, which is, I don't think I got the live version. I got the replay.
Right.
I never watched WCW, and
take him down.
My sister was gone during Christmas break for a couple of days, and I was bored. And somehow, like, my friend was over, and he said Starcade's on, and I'm like, let me see if my mom will get it for me. And she ended up getting it for me. It was like the only WCW pay-per-view I got from that era. And big splash in the corner.
Yeah, Hacksaw made the comeback. Yoko took a good bump on that clothesline. So Yoko goes down, and then Hacksaw gets in the corner for the 3-point stance, but Fuji grabs his leg, distracts Duggan, and that leads to Yoko, like you just said, nailing Duggan from behind, and it looks like this may be it if Duggan doesn't move. Banzai drop. Drops Duggan.
That's how he protected him.
Yeah. Good man. Duggan helped make Yokozuna, you know? Yeah, absolutely didn't. So Duggan helped make Yokozuna. He volunteered, or didn't volunteer, but he agreed. I don't know if he had much of a choice, but he agreed to let Yoko put him out there. Of course, that helped Duggan as well. It gave him a storyline to come back to. But Yokozuna going to go up for a second Banzai. He got the win there. 7.5 minutes, but look, the ropes are a little loose. But I see a second Banzai coming. Oh, Duggan out of the way just in the nick of time. Boy, these guys are calling it close with cutting it close with Yokozuna moving out of the way here from these Banzai drops. Because, man, if you're just a second slower, it could be some serious damage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're making it believable, though.
Uh-oh.
They don't want to roll out of the way, and then he's still standing on the rope. That's a bad look. Why would you jump at that point? So,
Hacksaw crawling to his tag team partner, Steve, the 2x4, the American-made 2x4 over there in the corner.
That's right.
Is he going to make it there in time is the question. Yoko's back on his feet, and Duggan's still crawling.
I remember listening to him talk about his 2x4s overseas, how they're a little bit bigger because of the metric system.
Right.
So they weren't actually like 2x4s.
They weren't 2x4s. Right.
Yeah. Because it does look a lot bigger there than it would.
Well, this is familiar.
It's travel stories.
Definitely. Well, this looks familiar. Duggan getting knocked out of the ring by the heel, gets the board. Let's see if we can listen to the crowd here. Let's see what Duggan does.
Oh, fini ou non? Oh, dans la boîte à pain. Oh, coup de paquet dans le dos. Mais alors, c'est quoi la décision du match? Yokozuna qui regagne les vestiaires. La décision officielle.
Yokozuna wins. Banzai drops 7.5 minutes, but they're leaving the crowd.
Duggan's beating him to the back. Oh, he's
still smashing him with the 2x4 all the way to the back. I love it.
That's good stuff.
Trying to leave the crowd happy anyway, with Duggan laying out Yoko. Yoko took a good bump in the ring from that 2x4 on his stomach too. So it's amazing how mobile Yoko still was, in 1993 before he put on all that extra weight. It's so night and day from what we wind up seeing by the end of 93, really.
Yeah, it's crazy. And he should have been so much more than what he was.
And okay, guys, that'll wrap up the Paris, France show. Steve, that wasn't too bad. I think we made it through there quite okay.
It wasn't bad at all. It wasn't bad. I was about to say, he's no Hogan.
No.
He's not going to stick around and pose for the crowd, but he came back out and he's doing his gimmick there. He's getting that France crowd to chant USA for him.
It's amazing what other countries would do for Hacksaw. I never understood it, but, I mean, hey, whatever. He's over. That's for sure. When you can get other countries to chant your country's name, and most other countries despise the United States, then you're pretty over.
You're over.
Yeah. So good job, Hacksaw Jim Duggan on the way out.
Good old Hacksaw. Like,
yeah.
The rest of the country sucks, but I like Hacksaw. So that's crazy.
All right, guys. Absolutely. All right, guys. So that's the end of the Paris, France show. Get ready to queue up Milan, Italy. From Forum Asago, I hope I said that right, April 25th, 1993, 7,500 fans, part of the European Rampage Tour. We're going to cue that up right now. We're going to get it going. On behalf of the Wrestling Memory Grenade and the WrestleCopia brand, we are proud to announce our very own Patreon account. We encourage everyone to stop on over to patreon.com/WrestleCopia and check out an amazing 14 tiers. And depending on your budget, we have everything from as little as a $1 tier to as much as a $100 tier. Get you all sorts of exciting offers. It really all depends on what offer you value the most. You can do anything from join Steve and I right here as co-hosts for an episode of The Grenade, all the way down to unedited versions of the show, early access to upcoming episodes, beat everyone else to the punch, see what we're saying before everyone else gets to hear it, plus my insanely detailed show notes, which I value ever so dearly. You can even pick the flick. And what that means is, if you subscribe to one of our You Pick the Flick tiers, you'll tell us, me and Steve, what show it is you want us to review. It can be a watch-along on the WWE Network, YouTube, Daily Motion. It can even be a live review of a rare show from my personal archive vault of videos at home. No promotion, no territory, no era is off limits. You can request anything from your favorite WrestleMania to an episode of 1982 World Class to the 60-minute classic between Jack Briscoe and Dory Funk Jr. from 1970's All Japan. Hell, if you want to put us through the misery, we'll even pull a Mystery Science Theater over here and watch Hell Comes to Frogtown starring Roddy Piper. You tell us what you want us to review, and we'll do our own little watch-along and do our best to entertain you guys and give you guys insight in the process. And it doesn't end there. There's a $5 tier, the All Access tier. Not only do you gain access to everything on every lower tier, but you'll also have complete access to our entire full library of random show reviews and watch-alongs we've done and continue to do as a side project. We review everything from the Flair Steamboat 2 out of 3 fall match from Class 6, all the way down to the Halloween 1985 edition of Saturday Night's Main Event. It's a proverbial hodgepodge of randomness, as you never know what we'll review next. And it's exclusive to the All Access tier or any of the higher tiers over at patreon.com/WrestleCopia. Check it out now. That address again is patreon.com/WrestleCopia. That's Wrestle C-O-P-I-A. Then, all right, guys, like we did at the end of part 1 of the France show, we're going to give you guys just a second to go on and queue up the Milan, Italy show. And if you guys need a second, just pause the grenade and pick it back up when you guys are all ready and queued up and ready to go. We're getting ready right now. Milan, Italy. Steve, if you're ready, we're going to count them down and get going.
I'm ready to roll.
All right, so here we go. The WWF from Milan, Italy, April 25th, 1993. In 3, 2, 1, press play. And we get the same opening as we got on the Paris, France show. They see the same video. Of course, it is the European Rampage. So they list all the countries here. There's Spain and Portugal and Italy and England, and it's just everywhere over there. And they spend the entire month here. And for those wondering why we're watching 2 separate shows, I think I explained it already. I know we were talking about it on the April episode of The Grenade last week, but there were 2 groups of wrestlers that went over. There was a group that went over for the first half of April, and a group that came over in the middle and lasted till the end of April over here in Europe. So this is Group B. This is the second group of wrestlers that went over. As this guy by the name of Dan Peterson, at least he gets a Chiron. Poor Raymond Rougeau didn't even get one in France. Damn that France. But we're here in Italy. Dan Peterson. It's not a very Italian name. Couple of dark matches on this show, by the way. Scott Steiner pinned IRS. So by a reversing a fireman's
match.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, apparently this match is on the Global Warfare Coliseum video. So if you guys really want to watch this entire show, that match is out there. Dark match. Scott Steiner over IRS in 10 minutes by reversing a fireman's carry into a roll-up. Of course, later tonight, we're going to see the Steiners take on Money Incorporated, but this was an additional match. Also, Virgil over Terrific Terry Taylor. Now, if you guys want to watch that match, there is a Barcelona, Spain show from this April 1993 tour out there in which Virgil wrestles Terry Taylor. The match goes nearly 20 minutes of Virgil. So, yeah, and Virgil did pick up the winner over Terry Taylor. Mercifully, it's not on this show. It is a dark match here in Milan.
Whose idea was that?
Well, it was the entire tour, too. Think about that. It was the opener every night.
I don't mind the match, whatever, but right. 20 minutes?
Yeah, with Virgil. I mean, Terry Taylor is one of the greatest technical wrestlers in the ring. I always loved watching Terry Taylor wrestle, but nobody's getting 20 minutes out of Virgil. You know there's rest holds there.
That's not going to get the crowd going.
Come on,
that's not going to get the crowd going for a dark match. I would have rather seen Little Louie and Tiger Jackson out there than that. Man.
Good call. So opening up here, it's El Matador Tito Santana taking on Doink. And you can, look at that. Tell me that's not Steve Keirn. You can see Skinner's face in that paint.
Oh, yeah, you can see it. You can tell.
That is definitely not Matt Borne. So Matt Borne worked with Group A against Crush, and here he is, Steve Keirn. You can easily tell that is Steve Keirn is Doink. Number 2, taking on El Matador Tito Santana to kick off this show. So, yeah, you know, I talked about the show that aired in Barcelona, Spain. It is out there for those who want to go and look for it. It might be online somewhere. I skimmed through it. I didn't really watch the whole thing. I did watch this match between Tito Santana and Doink. I should point out, Tito, being in Spain and being Hispanic, got pushed whenever the WWF sent him over there. In fact, I think, without looking, I think he was the first person maybe to pin The Undertaker, or one of the first. He pins him in Spain back in, pre-El Matador. He pins him with I think a trio of pile drivers or something. They did, so you know damn well El Matador went over Doink with El Paso de Muerte in Spain here on this tour.
Oh, of course. That was the reason he thought he was going to get the WWF title.
Well, that's
beat the Undertaker.
That, and he was delusional. You think you're going to get the WWF title in the fall of 92 and you're fired by the summer of 93? I don't know, man. This doesn't sound like a championship-worthy wrestler. I get his logical thinking of, they're going to expand into some of the Hispanic countries over there and they need me, but I don't know, man.
It would have taken a lot of work. I mean, this dude was a pay-per-view jobber for,
86 onward?
Well, he had some wins, didn't he? No, he took the loss at WrestleMania 2, didn't he?
I'll say this. He was in the first 9 WrestleManias. He only won WrestleMania 1 and WrestleMania 9. And that was a dark match, right? So
there you go. I think that tells you all you need to know about what they thought of Tito Santana at that time. I mean, he was relevant and had good stuff with Martel, and obviously the IC title tournament. He made the finals against Perfect. So, I mean, he did some things, but he was never really featured as a guy. Like, you just had the respect for Tito because of his history, and they did a good job of establishing like how good he was prior. But they needed guys like Tito. I mean, he's over, and we're right into headlocks 30 seconds into the match.
You know what I love right there, though? Doink didn't do the Doink laugh. He did the Skinner laugh, which was awesome. Steve Keirn needs to figure that one out. Leapfrog by Skinner, or Doink number 2, if anybody's counting. Tito kicks him out. You know, I always loved Tito. Like as a kid growing up, I hated El Matador. I'll tell you, it's like he just got slower and more boring. It's like he gave up immediately. I'm sure he didn't, but to me, it felt like he gave, like he just aged 10 years overnight or something when he became El Matador, for me anyway. And he's also got off the gas, so he's not exactly as in shape as he was as the Tito we knew before this.
Yeah, he's just a little older, a little slower. The El Matador gimmick kind of sped up the process a little bit for sure. But yeah, I was always a fan of Tito. Watching him now, like I appreciate him, but man, it is a lot of rest holds, lots of rest holds. But you know, by the time it's over, you kind of forget about all that because his fiery comebacks and the last 2 or 3 minutes of the match are usually lots of hope spots, and he was pretty good at making you believe that he really had a chance to win. So it's just getting to there.
Yeah, I always used to get upset because we never got the payoff with the Strikeforce split. Like every time there would be a USA Special or a Royal Rumble, they'd try to factor in like a Tito Martel confrontation or a match, but we never like actually got the payoff match. And then finally, a year and a half later, SummerSlam 90, it's Tito versus Rick Martel on the pay-per-view. I'm sure it was going to be a throwaway match for Martel anyway, but then Martel winds up, that's one of those times where he just disappears from the company for a few months. I think they said he was actually in Paris, France doing a modeling thing or something like that. But they changed it to the Warlord, who also beats Tito Santana. So yeah, Tito was the jobber of the pay-per-views to get all these guys over. He did a great job, a hell of a bumper. And think about that. WrestleMania 6 Barbarian, SummerSlam Warlord, Tito puts over both Powers of Pain back-to-back pay-per-views.
Yep. And he took that hellacious clothesline off the top. That's one of my favorite spots.
That's a great bump.
I love it. It's so good.
Doink working the armbar here. So yeah, it doesn't matter who's in control in this match. Looks like it's going to be rest holds aplenty. That was always a letdown to me. You know, I went to a lot of house shows with Tito Santana. I'll say this, my first match I ever saw live was a Tito Santana match against Bob Bradley, who went, on TV was more or less a job guy, but an upper class job guy, like a Brooklyn Brawler or a Barry Horowitz, who would get some offense, and he even took over as Battle Cat after Brady Boone left immediately after the character debuted. So they had trust in Bob Bradley, and he goes back all the way to early 80s. You'll see Bob Bradley on the early 80s TV too for the WWF, but I saw Tito years and years ago wrestling Bob Bradley, and it went like 10 minutes, and I was kind of excited, because it was my first match ever, but I remember thinking even then, boy, there's a lot of headlocks in this match. And it was mostly Tito, but I watched Tito wrestle Martel. I watched Tito wrestle the Mountie. I watched Tito wrestle quite a few guys in my time, and every match went the same. It was just headlocks, Headlock City. Brock Lesnar has Suplex City. Tito should come out with a Headlock City shirt. In fact, I'm coining that right now. Let's do that. Patreon.com. Yeah, we're going to sell a Headlock City shirt. Coming to WrestleCopia.
Let's go.
Arriba.
Probably sell like 4. We'll sell like 4 of them. And
hey, man, at least there's 4 people hopefully walking around with Headlock City shirts on.
But like, I know he did it a lot, but he would also like come out of it and get you hyped up and then be like right back into the headlock. It's like start, stop until you get to the end when it's just go. And it's, he was the master at that, whether it's good, bad, or ugly.
I'm waiting for the go here because this has been one big long arm bar.
Kamala and Kimchee was a little bit more entertaining than this. So we're talking about 2 really good workers here, but here we go. See, out of the arm bar
and right back down,
spot and right back down and arm bar.
There you go. So, saw that coming.
Yeah, it's a Tito match. Somehow, well, never mind. We won't go there. But
well, we do have a lot more coming up, guys, for anybody curious. If you're following along and this match isn't doing it for you, up next, the Steiners going to take on Tag Team Champions Money Incorporated. Yokozuna, like I said, he comes over from Group A to relieve The Undertaker of having to wrestle the Giant Gonzalez, so we're going to see Yokozuna and The Undertaker here on this show. Tatanka and Papa Shango. Bret Hart, Bam Bam Bigelow in the main event as well. Tito takes Doink down. So Tito going to make the comeback. Looks like we're heading into the finish you were talking about. Tito's big fiery comeback here.
Yep.
Atomic drops.
Doink hit the post there just a second ago. There it is, the flying forearm.
Flying forearm. Oh, well, look at the position he's in. 1, 2. Well, I never would have guessed Doink was going to get his foot on the rope the way he landed there.
This has to be a house ref or a local ref. That dude doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I love
that's
that too,
definitely not. Yeah, that's got to be, like you said, like an Italian ref.
I also always loved that Tito would toss the ref, or that temper would get the best of him, and he would go at the ref.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Doink going into his jacket. What's he got, Steve? What is that?
Oh, it's like mouth spray or something. Water probably, but
maybe he borrowed that from Rick Bartel. Little travel package size arrogance. Yeah, 2, 3 sprays it in the eyes of Santana. I always loved, at least in the WWF, if you got hit with salt or got sprayed in the eyes, you were incapable of doing anything anymore. Like you died. You stopped moving. You weren't flailing around. You weren't kicking out. Like you're selling. It knocks you out. Now, we always used to have fun laughing and poking fun at that, especially the old salt to the eyes spot.
They're trained, man. You're trained to realize, okay, the end's here because he got something in the eyes. So it's just training your audience, whether it's good or not. I don't know. It sells it. It makes you think like, okay, nothing could top that. I don't know, but
and there you go. That's what you were talking about. That Tito paid the price there. He shoved the referee to the side, which allowed Doink to sneak in and spray him in the face with whatever that was. Arrogance, maybe. Travel size.
He's on that
bottle.
He hit the guardrail. He's really selling it.
Oh, Tito can't see.
He's going on that. We got Guido
Bagata. Guido Bagata in the back. Boy, that's not stereotypical, is it? Guido Bagata, and he's going to interview, it looks like Money Incorporated, the tag team champions Money Incorporated. Let's see if IRS talks about Italian taxes.
Prima domanda. So you're going to fight the Steiner brother, loro andranno a combattere con gli Steiner brother che da tempo cercano di strappare il titolo a Money Inc. Steiner brother, they were looking to get the title from you.
Well, the Steiner brothers are obviously as stupid as they look. If they think they're going to walk in here and take the World Wrestling Federation tag team titles from Money Incorporated. No other team in the World Wrestling Federation has been able to do it yet, and it's not going to happen in Milan, Steiner brothers.
Messaggio chiarissimo da IRS. I Steiner Brothers sono forse più stupidi di quello che sembrano. Hanno sempre cercato di combattere con loro e cercheranno quest'oggi di strappare il titolo a Money Inc., ma non ce la faranno, soprattutto qui sul ring di Milano.
Don't think for 1 minute that we underestimate the Steiner brothers. They are, without a doubt, a very formidable team. They have marched through the World Wrestling Federation and have defeated every team that they have faced. But until tonight, here in Milan, they have not faced Money Incorporated. And the buck stops here. Excuse me. Here you would say, the lira stops here.
Ted DiBiase ha detto...
Well, that was a basic promo. They're certainly treating this guy a lot better than the guy in Paris was treated on the promos anyway.
Well, it makes you wonder they got talking to.
Well, yeah,
towards the end of the tour here, but yeah.
Well, it's also, you got to look at the guys like the Nasty Boys, Mr. Perfect. These are guys built to do things like that versus Ted DiBiase and Mike Rotunda, who you kind of look at as just gentlemen. Like they're there for business purposes.
Yeah, they're just there to collect checks and make money. That's the gimmick. They want money. And they don't care about the commentator, what he's doing.
And on their way to almost whacked in the face by that fan there. Speaking of fans, did you happen to see Seth Rollins get tackled? Oh my God.
I did, and I don't understand this idea that Seth is a puss because he got hit like that. That dude came out of nowhere, and before Seth even realized he was on the ground.
Yeah, I didn't see anything bad about it. Like as far as from Rollins, and then it was over before it started. Really, once he got him down there.
Yeah, and then like he started pulling his hair, and by the time Rollins was free to do anything, so much security was on that guy. It's not like he could take the boots to him. This isn't Scott Hall and Randy Savage at Halloween Havoc or whatever it was, and they beat the shit out of that fan for jumping the rail with 20 NWO guys in there. That wasn't smart, but Chavo making the
fans
like,
and Randy Savage and Halloween Havoc, because I remember the one with Zodiac too. Remember the fan tried to get in the ring during the Zodiac Macho Man match, but Macho,
that's right. Yeah.
he was professional. He got out of the ring with Brutus and let Randy Anderson beat the shit out of the fan of all people. So way to go, Randy Anderson. I always loved Pee Wee.
Too. And and then Chavo said, I remember a time when the wrestlers were tougher than the fans, and I'm like, come on, guys. He got tackled out of nowhere on his blind side. And the other thing too is why this is going. They're not letting the Steiners in the ring. Is when you're expecting something is one thing, but you just don't. That should be the last thing a wrestler is worried about is a fan, especially in today's world. Now, back in the day, it's different. We've heard the stories of the riots and people carrying knives, and jumping the rail, and doing all that stuff. Like that was just commonplace in the territories. It seemed that it happened more frequently back then than it did now. And guys had to be legit tough and protect themselves at all times.
Right.
Now with security and not only in the building but WWE security, this dude was right in front of the entrance ramp and charged Seth Rollins. Like the last thing Seth Rollins is worried about is a fan coming at him. So when you're completely unprepared to protect yourself or do anything, what the hell do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, it was out of nowhere.
Punch him right in the face and beat the shit out of the dude because he's not expecting it.
I knew the Steiners would find a way into the ring here. No, I agree with you. I just it was like, wow. There's a few videos, right, of the Rollins tackle, but there's one right up on it, and I was like, wow.
I guess what the story is the dude was being scammed on Twitter by a fake Seth Rollins account. And so he thought it was really Seth Rollins, and he was taking it out on Seth Rollins. Yeah,
what a mark.
What are you getting scammed on? Now you're in jail and never going to a WWE event again. Like, you're an idiot, dude.
To quote Bugs Bunny and Johnny Polo, what a maroon. What a card.
Good old Johnny Polo.
So the Steiners finally get in the ring. Boy. I don't know if you were watching there, but Ted DiBiase already taken some decent bumps, even took the old DiBiase bump out of the ring. So for those who don't know, on our other shows we've talked about it, DiBiase suffered a herniated disc sometime after the Royal Rumble, but well before WrestleMania, and he was picking and choosing the matches he was working wisely through February and March, and he wasn't doing a whole lot at those TV tapings either, Steve, and those tag team matches, those squash matches. And here he is out here, and he knows he's working the Steiners. I'm sure they're going to be cooperative with him and what he can and can't do, but he's here to work. He's already proved that.
You think he takes a German?
Oh, man, that's tough to say. I think IRS is 100% healthy, and I don't know if he would agree to take a German. So it's going to be interesting to see what suplexes either one of the Money Incorporated team will take. Now, Rick and Teddy go back a long time because you remember Rick Steiner broke in pretty much in Mid-South when Ted was still there. So yeah. DiBiase knows Rick from way back. And Mike Rotunda knows Rick from the Varsity Club. So these guys know Rick very, very well.
I think they know all four pretty well. At least Mike and Scott work together too. A little bit, I think.
Sure. Yeah, after Scotty came in 89, yeah. We did cover that on the Grenade as well, yeah. But
yeah, that was some good stuff.
Uh-oh. Well.
Oh, no.
Oh, belly to belly. There you go.
Oh, on a herniated that could not feel good on a herniated disc.
Well, it can't. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's healed to whatever degree. I guess I don't know. But DiBiase wise, I can't remember if I read it in an after mag or where it was or what it was, if it was legit or if it was just a story. Because sometimes they would create stories or create interviews that didn't really happen, but the wrestlers were cool with those interviews because the guys writing them knew what they were doing, so they made the wrestler look okay in them, even though the interview never actually took place. But there was a story way back, and I guess it would have been before he retired, before DiBiase retired here in 93. It came out in an after mag. I want to retire before age whatever, because remember, Ted's dad, his stepfather, passed away from wrestling, and Ted didn't want to die in the ring. That was basically the gist of the magazine. It was, I want to get out of the business before I pass away in the ring, so to speak. So when he retired here at this young age, it wasn't a shock to me, but I was still like, wow. Because I felt like there was still more to give, even though, he was slowing down a little bit. But he was still Ted DiBiase. So he was still doing more than most guys.
Yeah, I will say he adapted the WWF style, but he looked good doing it. Like, he didn't go complete lazy. Like, his selling is top-notch. He's still one of my favorite sellers. I just love the way he takes bumps. Like, that slow flip over, like when he lands on his neck and just flips over so slow, or when he leaves the ring sometimes, like Royal Rumble 92 when he took that elimination. Like, he does that in a regular match. He'll take that bump in a regular match and kind of like the Harley Race out of the ring type deal. So his selling,
that's actually the bump he took at the beginning of this match, actually. Yeah.
So he made a little move seem bigger and more impressive than what it was because of the way he sold it. And that's art. That's the art of wrestling, and that's something a lot of people today don't sell at all. Like, it's not something that's. It's just second. It's just like second or fourth on the list of things that they care about is selling.
I like that you mentioned. Oh,
he just did a kip up.
Yeah, and
Owen just do a kip up. Oh my god.
It's old school, man. He's working with his buddies from the NWA days. Yeah.
Remember when we was talking about that in the grenade? I don't want to interrupt you on what you were saying, but remember that match? Remember that match you had with Rick where
Flair? You're talking about?
Not Rick
Steiner.
Flair,
Rick Steiner.
Rick Steiner.
Yeah, at the beginning of '89,
they were just beating the shit out of each other at the pay per view.
Yes.
That's what it feels like. He's working with his buddy, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna go a little harder." So good stuff.
I agree with you. No, but I was just saying with DiBiase, Scott Steiner has IRS by the tie here. As the announcers used to say, here goes the Macho Man bump. Oh, a little sloppy there, but whatever. But I was saying, I like what you said about DiBiase as far as he learned to work the WWF style, but never got lazy, like so many other guys did when they got to the company from the territories. Hacksaw always comes to mind. I'm not trying to shit on Hacksaw, but if you guys go and watch Hacksaw on Mid-South UWF, and then you watch not necessarily what he does early on in this WWF run, but somewhere in there, in I'd say '88, he gets the idea of you don't have to do a whole lot. Well, wow, that was close. I thought DiBiase was going to pull the rope down. I thought he missed the rope, but no, he dropped down to trip up Scott Steiner. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know I wonder if he was supposed to do the top rope, but he missed. So he just tripped him up.
If it was, either way, but. Yeah, if that was what it was supposed to be, he covered very, very well.
And Irwin hit him in the back to get him outside, so I'm wondering if he was supposed to go over the top. But either way, unless you're really paying attention, you would have you probably missed that. So
no, that's years of experience coming into play there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's a perfect example of how good Ted is.
And now Money Incorporated going to take over on the offense. Looks like there was a commercial break there in the action.
I was wondering what the heck that was.
Probably for the best, because it looks like we're in a chinlock spot. As Scott drives DiBiase face first into the buckle, though, so it may already be hot tag time.
What the hell is that?
Hey, man, they're advertising. Wrestling Superstars. Domani.
What's Domani? What is that? 1615.
I don't know. Google it. I don't know what any of that means.
I'm not 1615.
Those are numbers, Steve. I know what 1615 are.
Oh, I know that, but like, oh Lord.
Oh, there you go, chin breaker. So they teased the hot tag with DiBiase. Now we might actually see it here with Irwin, but nope. Looks like they're. Oh, I like it. They continue to tease the hot tag. Scotty keeps finding his way out of predicaments, and the Money Incorporated just too fast on the tags, though. Nice suplex by DiBiase. Well, I didn't think that was going to be the finish, so no shocker there.
No clue what 1615 is. I Googled it. Well, I didn't Google it. I DuckDuckGo'd it because I'm trying to get away from Google, but no dice on that one. Sorry, guys.
Scotty going to try to escape a third time from Money Inc.'s clutches, and nope, not going to work this time. Not yet, anyway. What do we got? Is that Earl Hebner in there? All right, so we got Earl.
Yeah.
On this tour. Earl and some Italian dude we've never seen before.
That's 2 suplexes he's taking on that back.
Yeah, DiBiase's here to work. I mean, they're not overdoing it or anything like that, but DiBiase, you would never know anything's wrong.
This is no like Steiners and Fire and Ice, where they're just killing each other, taking turns,
launching each other across the ring. Right?
Yeah, he's picking and choosing here on what he wants to take, and Irwin's not taking anything from anybody. So
DiBiase distracting Hebner. Scotty had IRS beat with that sunset flip. It's paint by numbers tag team wrestling right now. Really nothing right or wrong about the match. Nothing boring about the match. Nothing exciting about the match. They're doing exactly the what you would expect out of a tag team formulaic match.
Yeah, you're just waiting for the hot tag and the finish. You know, you're just ready for those spots and stuff like that. But it's easy, man. This was fine for back then. You don't have to. So
explain to me where do we go wrong in tag team wrestling that we don't get this heat anymore? Is it just nobody wants to sell, so we can't do this thing here where guys get heat for more than 30 seconds at a time?
Yeah, I don't know where that happened. I don't know. Clearly, like when you start not giving a shit about tag wrestling, then that's when it all deteriorates. And, you know, we're on the Monday Warfare. We're at the point in WWF where, hell, even in '93, smoking guns, smoking guns are the new flavor of the month, and the Bushwhackers are coming back. And I mean, I don't want to trash the Steiners, but they're the best team here. And then obviously the Quebecers come in a little bit. I'm not saying they're anything special, but
I like the Quebecers actually. One of the most underrated teams. I feel.
I enjoy them, and I've always loved Jacques Rougeau. I like the Rougeau brothers, but I mean, when you're talking Steiners and the Quebecers and the Smoking Guns, those are the Headshrinkers. Those are your 4 tag teams.
Yeah, how many times has Money Inc. cut off Scotty from making the hot tag? We're like 6 or 7 times now. This is classic heel shit. Dumped Scotty outside. No, yeah, there's not a lot of teams to pick from here. The Nasties are gone pretty much here, so yeah. The Bushwhackers are gone. They come back in the summer and do some midget comedy matches and things. But yeah, you got Money Inc., which is basically just about gone because DiBiase's leaving. So it's the Steiners. We'll have the Quebecers, like you said, the Smoking Guns, the Headshrinkers, and then I guess the Heavenly Bodies are on their way in soon, but they never really pan out to what they could have been.
Something happened to Earl.
Earl, yeah. Earl took
came around the corner and like hit Earl on accident or something, and Earl hit his hip right on the guardrail, and he's struggling. Nice gut wrench there. But I mean, this is a far cry from like 88, 89. Let's look at the tag rosters, and it's like that's where it went wrong. They just stopped caring about it. Slowly but surely. They didn't want to build new teams or put guys together, or there's really nobody on the territories putting themselves together to get over like they did before. And those were all gone, so it's up to you to come up with them. And if you just don't care enough about it, it's not going to work.
But we still have tag teams today. We have tag teams. We have the Young Bucks and guys like that, and they don't want to work this style though. I'm not saying they can't do their flippies. I'm not expecting IRS and DiBiase to do flippies.
No.
But
you can't do
we've seen guys
now.
But we've seen Scorpio who did flips in the ring, right? We've seen him work tag team matches. We've seen them make sense. So why can't you do flips and sell? I don't get it.
Well, I mean,
Scott Steiner looks like he's brewing for
I'm
hot
not
tag.
going to blame the guys, but I think it's just their audience. They're not going to sit there and watch a match like this. If you have the Young Bucks and you just start working the back and cut off 25 times and you don't see hardly any flips or action and it's just kind of boring, then people are going to be like, well, I didn't see the Young Bucks tonight. That's not who the Young Bucks are. And so I think if you want that sort of action, then you have to reestablish it as this is what tag team wrestling is.
Yeah, you have to bring it back. And I'm not saying work chin locks, work armbar. I don't want to see that. I just watched Tito do that. I don't want to see that. These guys can go. Here we go. It's the hot tag though. Yeah, I'm not trying to get into a big conversation about it. I apologize for anybody who's trying to enjoy this match. But boom, there's the Steiner line. DiBiase bumping just perfectly fine for Rick Steiner here.
One last thing to put a bow on it to me. Oh, Scott with the drop kick. I think if you want to see those matches, the best thing for you would be the Revival or whatever the hell their name was in WWE.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever they were. The Revival and American Alpha down in NXT. I mean, those matches were throwback classics. And
boom.
I enjoyed them a lot just because they did remind me of old school wrestling. Like no flips, just fists. I love that gimmick. I think it works. But then you get in a match with Young Bucks and you're doing a springboard 450. It's like, well.
Ooh, there it is. The old Buzz Sawyer power slam on DiBiase and IRS.
Going over the top for him.
Rotunda shit can to the floor. Scotty signaling for the Frankensteiner. The crowd's up and Scott's back in the ring. Are we going to get it? Oh, the camera misses the Frankenstein. How the fuck? 1, 2, IRS with the belt shot causes the disqualification. And the camera misses the most important move of the entire match, the Frankensteiner. I was all hyped up for it.
Kevin Dunn. There's no way this is Kevin Dunn.
So DiBiase even taking the Frankensteiner here.
Yeah. He's hurt, but I think it also just goes to show the respect he has for the Steiners. I think he's not doing this for everybody. That's probably why he was loving that he was working Hogan at Mania.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about big money and not having to do anything. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. They got all the heat they need just by having Hogan on the other side. So he's like, sign me up.
Yeah, so the Steiners...
You would never know that he was hurt, man. And watching this match, you would never know he was hurt.
Nope.
That's how good he is.
Steiner's holding the belts, but Earl Hebner telling them that there was no 3 counts, so they got to give the belts back. And I felt like this was I get you got to get out of matches like this, especially since this is technically just a house show. But I hated this with DiBiase and IRS because we got this for their entire run together. How many DQs and countouts do we get, even on pay-per-views, with this kind of shit?
Yeah.
So,
at SummerSlam 92, they weren't the champions.
Right. WrestleMania 8, they walked out, right?
Yeah. 8, they walked out. They lose them on the house show. Who else did they fight? They lost. Did they lose that way to the Nasties? I think they rolled up the Nasties and beat them clean. Well, not clean, but with help from Jimmy.
They were on the house shows. I think they were doing the DQs, actually, with the briefcase or something like that.
I meant the TV match.
Oh, I don't even remember them having a TV match.
You don't remember that? On Wrestling Challenge?
Not off the top of my head.
That may have been when the Nasties, or that was when Money Inc. won the belts. My bad. I was thinking of the title switch on TV when it's supposed to be the Nasty Boys.
Right. I got you. Yeah. No, but yeah, I just they've walked away so many times. Didn't they do that at WrestleMania 9? There was no finish. So
they tried to, but yeah, that's the problem. Is they were in matches. I'm not counting the natural disasters, but they were in matches that they just wanted to continue, or they're not going to get a clean win anyway. So it's like, what do? But like you said, this happened every single time, and it kind of diminishes them a little bit. But the problem is there's no other team that they could face really that they could just get a good win over to establish their run.
And here you guys see another. I agree with you, but there's a lack of teams. Obviously, it starts right there.
Yeah.
But it's sad that the very few teams that there are, we're still getting these finishes each and every time, or almost every time. And it just became like, really, we're doing this again a year later, and we're still doing these. We're still doing the same shit.
Right. It's like the problem is natural disasters beat them for the belts. The Steiners beat them for the belts. So it's like the guys that they're doing this to are the teams that end up beating them. So it's like if you beat them now, I guess you can get your win back. But it just kind of makes it's that dusty booking where they just make you want to come back and see more is kind of what they're going for, it seems like. But I don't think it's a lack of them wanting to do a job. I don't think that's it. It's just lack of tag teams have really, really hindered them.
And here we have a very lengthy Mr. Fuji promo for some odd reason, going a little too long for my taste, and I don't even have to listen to it. It's Fuji there with Yokozuna. I mentioned it earlier. If you guys are wondering, wait a minute, Yokozuna was on the Group A shows. How is he now on the Group B show? So Yoko, we saw wrestle Duggan on Group A in the main event. He stays over in Europe and works The Undertaker for the second half of the Group B tour, because the first half of the Group B tour, The Undertaker was wrestling the Giant Gonzalez, and somewhere along the way, the Giant Gonzalez is sent back to the United States. I don't know if they had something to do with The Undertaker not wanting to work him anymore on this tour, or if it was maybe uncomfortability in some of these countries and all this, the flying around from country to country in Europe for somebody the size of Gonzalez, or maybe it was just planned that way. I really don't know, but Yoko...
Yoko has to be just as difficult traveling, right?
I wonder if it's just as tough. I mean, being tall versus being large, I'm not sure. Especially, I don't know. Well, it's a good call.
I'm relatively tall, and I was uncomfortable as hell on an airplane, so I couldn't even imagine somebody 7'8" on an airplane for 12, 15 hours just to get over there and then have to fly everywhere he has to go to like that. I could see that. That would be terrible. Just give Yoko 2 seats and he's good to go.
Yeah, so the Giant Gonzalez left Europe. I think his last night was April 20th. The last time he took on The Undertaker, they were doing disqualifications, I think, every night with Undertaker going over. So basically, I can't say that the finish was the same as WrestleMania, but the outcome was the same as WrestleMania. So I don't know. At least we get Yoko here, and then instead of Giant Gonzalez on this show, The Undertaker getting ready to take on Yokozuna, who The Undertaker wanted to work at the beginning of the year, but of course they have other plans for Yoko. They were going to give him the belt, and they'll give him the belt again, as we know.
Yeah, is it just me, or does Yoko look even heavier compared to when he was at WrestleMania 9? I don't know if it's because his gi or whatever it is there.
You just said that on the April 8th show that he looked thinner. Or that was because he's wearing all black.
The trunks. Yeah. Well,
are we going to get that again? Do you think he packed several trunks or tights on the way to the European tour, or is he rocking the black on black again here? That'll be interesting to see here in a minute.
I bet she's wearing red.
Okay. Well,
do you think he's really gonna wear black on black with the Undertaker in the ring?
Well, I mean, they're not females. No offense, ladies, but I don't know if they're paying attention to all that. I go back to Royal Rumble with Ric Flair and Bob Backlund, both rocking the red.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I always thought they did, because it's kind of like sports teams. You don't want to color clash uniforms.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I could see that. In some instances. I just don't know that guys like The Undertaker and Yokozuna are worried about it so much, is what I'm saying.
No, they're too busy getting drunk and doing what they did back then.
And if in Yokozuna's case, eating buckets of fried chicken, admittedly.
Pizza and anything else he can get his hands on.
Taker on its way out. Not a super slow entrance by The Undertaker here, so I can dig that. It only took him a little bit to get out of the ring. That wasn't like a 5-minute entrance here. So I'm happy already with that.
Yeah. It's The Undertaker though.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of match we're gonna get out of these two. Like I said, The Undertaker was beating Gonzalez on a disqualification, so I can't imagine this is gonna be very much different. And we know the last match ended in a disqualification, so we'll see what happens here. Still to come, guys, Bret Hart taking on Bam Bam Bigelow in the main event. A couple other matches as well left on this show.
Maybe they're getting all the DQs out early.
Who's this? Is this that other referee you were referencing? I think this is the Italian referee.
Yeah, dude's scared to death of The Undertaker.
Yeah, he thinks this shit's real.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Either that or he just does an excellent job selling. Good job by this referee here. Well, they managed to fly Paul Bearer, Mr. Fuji, all those guys over for this show. You know, a lot of times back in the day, especially on house shows, you didn't get to see the managers. They didn't want to pay them to make the travel. So you didn't always get the managers.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. There's the red. Yeah, you called it.
Vince probably saw that black on black and was like, don't ever wear it again.
I don't even know if Vince... I think
your
Vince
ass
even
doesn't
made
look
this
big
trip.
enough. No, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, your ass doesn't look big enough in that black on black. Don't ever do it again. I mean, look how heavy more he looked. I mean, hell, it's been, 2 weeks? 2.5 weeks?
Yoko can eat a lot in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, look how big he looks compared to that red, compared to the black. It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm in agreement there. Yeah, definitely looks a lot larger with the, yeah, that's living proof. When a guy Yokozuna's size looks more slender, I can't even believe I'm calling it that, in black, then you know black does its job. If Paul Bear ever gets out of the ring, if Paul Bear, we're gonna get the under camera shot. No, thought maybe we get that looking at the Undertaker underneath Yoko's ass. If Paul Bear ever gets out of the ring, we might. There it is. Yeah, the camera was looking for it. Not bad. Yeah, let's go, Paul. Let's get this match going. This referee's afraid to get in between Paul Bear and the Undertaker and get this match going. And maybe we get a Yoko attack here. No, Bear jumped off the apron. I don't know how many times I saw him do that. Get him, dead man. Oh, here we go. Face to face, nose to nose, Yokozuna and the Undertaker long before the Royal Rumble 94. And
that's a really cool shot there.
Yeah. It's getting a little uncomfortable, though. There we go.
Taker's probably saying, I'm so happy to see you across from me.
I'm sure they had that conversation in the locker room. Oh, I'm so glad you're not the Dragons. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
You have to think those Gonzalez Taker matches couldn't have went that long. And yet still, it was just like, look at that. Oh, nice DDT.
That right there was more than what he ever could do to Giant Gonzalez. He's probably like, I'm doing my DDT first thing. Oh, man.
That had to feel good. It's like,
yeah,
good.
I can bump. I can do something. Paul Bear had to make up for the quick entrance by standing in the ring for 2.5, 3 minutes.
Yeah, he certainly did. Putting over the fact that they got to the ring in no time, and then, nice clothesline. Of course, Taker lands on his feet on the floor, though. And Fuji with the flag, nails the Undertaker, who no-sells it, and now he's coming after Fuji, but that allows Yoko to attack on the floor.
Look at Paul Bear.
Oh, yeah.
Getting into it with the ref.
Yeah.
Pointing at Fuji, calling him out. Animated.
Yeah, I don't know what's gotten into Paul today.
I think, I can't remember where I seen it, but there was I want to say it's on the Hidden Gems, the one title defense of Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
In between Survivor Series and Tuesday in Texas against the Bulldog. I think there's I think that match, and Paul Bear gets super animated, like completely different person, turns into Percy Pringle almost in a mortician suit, and he's really active and going at it there. So definitely a unique look at Paul Bear compared to what we know him as.
You know, a real quick funny story about the Paul Bear character, Percy Pringle. I go back to radio WWF in 1994, and he was a guest on the show one week, and he's on there doing his shtick with Johnny Polo and Stan Lane, and fans get to call in and ask questions. Well, a fan calls in, and he thinks he's got Percy Pringle's number. He's got a question for him that he thinks he's going to show him up, make him look like an ass, right there on the radio. And he says, if you're really a mortician, how do you drain the blood out of a dead person's body? And I mean, immediately, Percy Pringle, whatever you want to know, Paul Bear says, through the jugular, with jugular, he's calling the jugular, he said. And the guy just was completely silent on the other end of the phone because he didn't realize in real life, Paul Bear had been a mortician. In fact, that was even his mask gimmick back in the 70s when he tried to wrestle, the mortician. So Paul Bear was a mortician. At any point in time when he wasn't wrestling, that's what he did. That's how the gimmick came about, really, and how it made sense and worked in line with the Undertaker character when Bruce Pritchard stepped down. So I just love that he shut that fan up immediately, like, oh, maybe this is real. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. I mean, it really, like, if that fan, wow, we already have to finish.
This finish is just out of nowhere. Well, I didn't take up the whole entire match with that story. All 2 minutes of the match there. Taker sits up and Yoko grabs the salt bucket and just blasts him over the head. Disqualification just that fast. Match says 5 minutes, 43 seconds. It felt like 3 minutes to me. And Bearer down on the outside.
2 minutes of it was them staring at each other.
Well, that's true. Now Taker getting beaten with the flag. Yeah, I don't know if you were wanting to add anything to that story, though.
I just think it's, if that dude's like, let's say he's on the fence, I don't know.
Right.
Like on the fence of thinking wrestling's real or fake, and then he calls in and Paul Bearer knows the answer, and he's actually a mortician. It's like, man, I wonder what else is real or something like that if you're like real naive or... Man, ropes are rough.
Are we going to get a sit-up here? Wow. How close perfect. Was that? I want to call it perfect because the Undertaker sits up just as it looks like his ass hits Taker's hair. Yeah. I want to call it perfect. Oh, wow. Choke slams Yokozuna. But almost too perfect. That was a little too close for my comfort anyway. I mean, gosh, another half second, he would have maybe broke the Undertaker's neck coming down on that bonsai. So, wow, they really cut that close. But, yeah, that was almost a non-match, and it was probably still more, not probably, I'm sure it was still more than Taker did with Gonzalez.
Yeah, we've seen that. Yeah, this was way better. That post-match was more exciting than any Undertaker-Gonzalez match. But I had a question about the Undertaker, and we didn't even get to ask it.
Look at that! Look at that! Wow,
slow-mo. That was so close.
That is a GIF all day.
Yeah, I was about to say that'd be a great GIF. That slow-mo right there. But do you think? Well, we got a second here. Are you gonna pick up the promo here? Or no?
Yeah, we can pick up Tatanka just to break the monotony. We can listen to another promo real quick and just hold your thoughts, though. I want to pick it up on the other side, but right now I guess we're going to cut to Tatanka. If we actually, Papa Shango on his way to the ring. So yeah, we are getting ready for the next match. Papa Shango on his way out.
Taker was loving this tour. Yoko, Papa Shango himself. Oh yeah, he's having a good time.
They were having fun over there.
Oh yeah.
So Shango on his way into the ring, and we're going to go to a Tatanka promo in a minute. We'll listen to that, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Taker on the other side. Look at that guy. I wish they could have made that work, but unfortunately the bell rings. And I think he's the first one that'll tell you that.
Well, that shoulder breaker, though.
Yeah. Let's go to Tatanka.
Un indiano, Tatanka, l'avversario di Papa Shango che tu hai appena introdotto sul ring. Tatanka, it's going to be a tough match. Your first time in Milano, la prima volta in Italia.
You know, this is my first time to Milan. This is my first time to Italy. I was walking the streets today, and these people are great. They're fantastic. They're beautiful. But there's one thing that could ruin this. Papa Shango.
La prima volta in Italia per Tatanka, ma c'è qualcosa che potrebbe rovinare questo suo primo viaggio in Italia, ovvero Papa Shango. Papa Shango, the voodoo and the Indian tradition. Papa Shango, il voodoo è la tradizione indiana, contro la tradizione indiana.
Papa Shango, I know your world of black magic and voodoo, but I come with the power of the Great Spirit and all my people and all my little braves here in Milan, and I will make all my people proud here in Milan.
Il grande spirito indiano con...
Well, I mean, he recovered at the end there. That was almost getting borderline Virgil at the on start of that promo from Tatanka, but he saved himself there near the end.
That was pretty rough, man. And people are mad that they write their promos now.
well, these guys are the
we have 100. Yeah, we have 100 reasons why this is happening. I mean, just go watch some of those event centers are rough.
For every Roddy Piper, there are 10 Virgils, 50 Virgils. So.
Yep. So, be grateful. I think some of these guys could probably talk today, but most of them are probably not very good.
No.
It's no knock on them, but it's an art, and there's very few great talkers that ever existed in the business. I mean, great. It gets thrown around a lot, but there's very few.
So while we got this throwaway match here in the ring, Tatanka and Papa Shango, you had another question about The Undertaker.
Yeah, I was. So do you ever? We've seen him as Mean Mark and what he can do in the ring, and how athletic he was, and how. Obviously, it wasn't over in WCW. Maybe it could have been if they cared a little bit more about him. But do you ever think, like, maybe if he didn't get the Undertaker gimmick, that we'd be looking at him differently, as far as not necessarily. I don't know if he'd ever reach the peak that he has as the Undertaker, but maybe we look at him more as a great wrestler instead of just a great gimmick. I know he's had good matches and pretty damn good matches and entertaining matches. And
I mean,
all-time classics. But
I think the longevity wouldn't be there, if he wasn't the Undertaker. But I think Vince could have easily made him work as a top heel, a top main eventer, just based on his size and what he could do. Remember when he first came in, when he was leaping over the top rope and all those things, and walking, not just walking the rope with the old school, but some of the other things he was doing off the top rope. And, it's clearly somebody told him, no, that you don't do these things. And that's why, we haven't gotten there yet, and I have not watched it yet, but I feel like I remember him wrestling maybe Samu or someone like that on a 93 Raw. And that might be the match where he does the first DDT I remember seeing. I know we saw him do it to Yoko here, but I remember thinking that he did a drop toe hold and a DDT on the same night. And it was the first time I saw him do either move. And I holy shit, the Undertaker does moves, like wrestling moves. And of course, I saw him a little bit as Mean Mark in 1990, but, and in the USWA, he stopped through there. Actually, I think it aired on ESPN after he'd already become the Undertaker. So I was like, oh, wow, here he is in the USWA. Clearly he jumps over to Vince. But so I know he could do these things, and we saw him do those things when he first came in. Then he slowly stopped doing all those things, which sucked. And I think that had to hurt him mentally, like, man, I can do all these things. I'm sure it helped him. Think about all the injuries and nagging things he's went through over the last 20 years or more, and imagine how much faster that would have happened had he continued to wrestle the way he did prior to or when he first broke into the WWF.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It prolonged his career and kept him relatively healthy. I know he has like a handful of surgeries scheduled after hunting season's over. So he's still going under the knife. I think he has the full-blown hip replacement.
Yeah.
And a few others. So, yeah, clearly, and by the time he was able to do whatever he wanted to do in the ring, he was older and probably couldn't do some of the stuff that he was doing as Mean Mark. So we never fully got that. We saw glimpses, obviously, the dives over the top rope and the old school and things like that. But he was doing those things. Like, he would walk across the top rope all the way to the middle to drop an elbow. And it's like, this dude's 6'8", 6'9", 6'10". And he's walking across the rope with holding on to nothing. It's like primetime Malik Skipper walking across the cage.
Yeah.
But the dude's 6'10", and it's just like, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, he was taken after Don Jardine, the spoiler, doing that walk across the ropes, but he did it so nimble. He was so nimble with it. And, like you said, hit the elbow drop and things like that. I thought Tatanka was already making the comeback there. It looked like he came off the top with the tomahawk. Yeah, Papa Shango cuts him back off, though. Not a lot left in this part 1 here in Milan. We still have part 2 left of Milan, Italy, guys, and we're going to do that next, and it's going to be just like the first 3. We're going to count you down right away as we go into the second half and the final part of our watch-along episode here. All right, it's moving kind of fast for me, honestly, Steve.
Yeah, I haven't seen these shows, so it's kind of nice. We're just kind of reliving them here for the first time, at least I am, and it's nice to talk about it.
No, I can honestly say I've never watched these straight through. I skimmed them just to see what was on them, and that's all I did.
Yeah, we got to have some sort of preparation for what we're going to see, but for the most part, no, I haven't. I've skimmed these myself, but it's been a while, and I just want to do one quick thing about the Undertaker, and we'll move on, because you mentioned it, how mentally it had to affect him on that Last Ride documentary. He mentioned that he's like, I see all these guys like Brett and Shawn going out there putting on all these classic matches and flying all over the place, and he's like, in my mind, I'm saying I can do those things. Oh, that was an ugly post shot right there. He's like, in my mind, I can do all these things that they're doing, and I can really work and do something different and get over a different way, but the gimmick hindered him, and he never wanted to I can't think of the word. He never really wanted to betray or, we know how he is with his character. He never wanted to diminish the character in any way back then.
No, I agree. I mean, you're basically stuck in the situation you're stuck in when you're the Undertaker. Not a bad situation to be in, but yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Uh-oh, here we come. It's the Tatanka War Dance. He's on the warpath, and down goes Papa Shango. Ooh, laying in the chops now is the Native American who's on his way to a feud with Bam Bam Bigelow here in 1993. Yeah, backdrop on Papa Shango. It looks like we're running out of time here, so I'm guessing this match is over here in the next, say, 30 seconds. It would have to be.
We're getting there.
I was getting scared we were going to get a double count out for a second there, but they got right back in the ring. Oh, Papa Shango looks for the knee. Tatanka floats over. 3 count. Tatanka picks up the win with a roll-up.
Yeah, you can clearly tell they didn't want Tatanka in that match at WrestleMania. I mean, they had to, but you could tell it was just kind of quickly thrown together and not in the cards. Because he had that match and was gone, like down the card he went until Bam Bam happens. So I'm curious. I wonder what would have happened if
that didn't take long. I mean,
they were doing Owen or Bam Bam.
Well, that didn't take long. You got to remember, WrestleMania was April 4th, and they filmed the Bam Bam stuff, I think, on the 5th or 6th. So
yeah,
it didn't. I mean, but like you said, it was supposed to be Bam Bam and Owen. So I'm wondering what they did have planned for Tatanka. If it was going to continue with Shawn. And they changed things up here. Tatanka picks up the win. That concludes part 1 of Milan, Italy, which means we're going to head into the final episode here, the final part of our watch along. It's Milan part 2. You guys cue it up and get ready. All right, we're going to count you guys down. I keep selling the Bret Hart Bam Bam Bigelow match. There is another match before that, and there's a reason why I haven't been selling that to you guys. So we're going to, if you have anything you wanted to talk about, Steve, that you haven't talked about yet, this will be the time as we come back. Part 2, Milan, Italy. The next match, the Bushwhackers taking on the Beverly Brothers. As we come back, everybody's turning the show off now. As we count down in 3, 2, 1, press play. And here we go. Part 2 of Milan, Italy. It is the Bushwhackers taking on the Beverly Brothers. Unfortunately, no Little Louie or Tiger Jackson to entertain us here in this particular match. This is one of Bo Beverly, if not his final match. This is one of his final matches. He finishes up after this European tour as far as wrestling goes. So Bo's going to go sell his back injury, and out of the wrestling business will Wayne Bloom go until he randomly pops up in WCW later on to collect a couple paychecks. Unfortunate.
I kind of like the Beverly Brothers, so
I didn't know what to make of them when they came in. To be honest with you, I don't know if anybody remembers the original capes. Oh my God, it looked like somebody bought a couple quilts from a quilting bee, or just a bunch of random patches and things, and then they quickly got these lovely purple ones here. But yeah, I just didn't know what to make of them. They stuck them with John Tolis, who was coach when they first debuted, which is just another no-no. It was just they were just destined to flop, and then they never gave them really anything to do. They did finally pick up the Genius, so Randy Savage must have been like, "My brother's doing nothing. Get him back on TV." And so the Genius gets stuck with the Beverly Brothers, and they do that for a while, and then they do the Legion of Sissies bit with Legion of Doom.
The problem is, by the time they got to the Legion of Doom, they were already established as nobody gives a shit about you.
Yeah. Well,
so it was like, there's no way you're doing anything against the LOD. So,
well, they were a couple years too late, because for those who don't know, Wayne Bloom and Mike Enos were both power lifters prior to wrestling. They were pretty big, built, strong guys, and I'm sure they probably used some pharmaceuticals from time to time that included injecting needles into their ass, and we'll leave it at that. And back in the day, that would have worked well in the WWF, but unfortunately, by the time the Beverly Brothers came along, it was pretty much the end of that happening. So they're just here looking like normal guys that are in decent shape.
I would kill to look like Wayne Bloom right now. I'll take that. Decent shape.
I'm just talking WWF standards.
Yeah, WWF standards. I mean, my God.
Well, then there is the Bushwhackers. So that's a thing. I can't believe they I get it was the gimmick that got them into the company, or not got them into the company, but the reason they lasted so long in the company. Every time they needed something, there were holes in shows, like right here on this European tour. Call the Bushwhackers, bring them back. I can't imagine how many, we always talk about how many times Neidhart was fired, Marty Jannetty was fired, Coco Beware even got fired a few times there. But I don't want to say the Bushwhackers were fired, but they were probably let go because they were the most expendable. They were at the bottom of the list of keepers. But it was always the Bushwhackers Vince called back, right? They came back in 92. They came back in 93, 94, 95.
95, yeah.
Yeah. 96. They had a fucking kangaroo. Now don't get excited, guys. It was I think it was the Brawler in a mascot costume of a kangaroo. But yeah, even in 96.
Amazing. Of all the tag teams from like 1988, 89, this is the team that we get all the way to 96.
Yeah, the one that always keeps coming back. Not the Rockers, not the Bulldogs, not the Heart Foundation, not like, take your pick, the Rougeos, the Brainbusters, the Powers of Pain, the Demolition. I could go on and on. This is they're at the bottom, literally at the bottom of my list of every tag team from the late 80s and early 90s.
Can't give us the Killer Bees.
Just give me Brian Blair. Bring him back.
Right. I mean, these guys, they're way more entertaining and can actually work, and they're over. Oh, now they're calling them.
Oh, yes.
Acting like they're fairies.
And Butch doing the little fairy dance there. And, Butch, I'm sure it's edited out. I've said it before out of Royal Rumble 92. But Butch, yes, man, he gets a chant going. And I remember watching that live, and it was acceptable back in those days. Hey, man, it was just the times. And, God, he gets the whole crowd chant. I think the crowd even, like the camera even pans to children chanting the F word, if you will, for homosexuals. Yeah,
not the 4-letter F word. No,
the 2-syllable F word. And Butch sitting there stomping and chanting at the crowd, and the kids are chanting it back. And
I'm surprised it's edited because
I don't know that for a fact that it is. I just assume
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it is, but because I haven't heard that on the actual broadcast in a long time. So, but it's weird that it is because that Raw that's on the network that we just watched on the April stuff about Shawn. It's still there.
Yeah, and all of Lawler's comments too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean. To be fair though, like if you're going to edit that stuff, you might as well just not even have a network.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say.
You might as well. Your network's going to consist of like 2015 on or something because there's stupid shit being said all the time by everybody back then.
I could see World Class being removed tomorrow. At least every time Gary Hart was in the promotion.
Good old Gary Hart.
Yeah. I was talking to Tom Robinson on one of the TR shows one time, and he was telling me I had to go find it. And sure enough, there it was. Gary Hart gets in the ring with Iceman Parsons. Gary's managing the one-man gang at the time, and he says, he's going to beat you like he bought you at an auction. It's like, why the fuck do you even come up? Jesus Christ, man, it's so outdated. Like, that's a different century. Fucking Gary Hart.
Yeah, we've talked about Gary Hart enough.
The NWA 89 grenade. Yes.
Just go watch that JYD promo, I think it was, for Bob Orton. Who was that?
Dickie Murdoch too. He was talking about Dick Murdoch marrying a Mexican and whatever,
For like no reason at all, he just turned it racist. Like absolutely no reason at all.
And Bob, and then they cut to Bob Orton, who's standing next to him, and Bob just like completely changes the topic. Like, yeah, Daddy, I'm gonna wrestle you. It's like,
yeah. Bob was gone shortly after that.
Bob didn't want to do jobs. Was his problem, and then that was the end of Bob as far as career, like real careers go, contracts and things go. Although I guess he got a few paydays from Herb Abrams.
He's doing okay. His son's made quite a bit of money, I'm sure.
Do it for me, Randy. Yeah, definitely.
He's officially done after what the hell he did to The Undertaker, and clearly this match is nothing but comedy spots because there's absolutely nothing to talk about.
And now Luke flapping his arms like as you said, a fairy. I don't really get that from the Beverly Brothers. Like they never portrayed that. I mean, they did have the Genius as their manager, but even then, when they had the Genius as their manager, they never portrayed that type of character.
Yeah, I don't get it. They must be chanting it because they're getting heated. And they keep
I'm not sure what you would chant in Italian, but they're probably chanting that right now. Yeah. Oh.
The Bushwhackers thinking it's 92, like January 92 all over again. That's the only reason they're doing it.
Well, they don't have Jameson. They don't have Jameson anymore. So we're shit out of luck.
Maybe they're not like calling them fairies. They're just calling them women. They're being feminist here.
I don't think women have wings. Luke was just
he's just saying like I seen that sign back there, Beverly Sisters, and that's kind of that's what they always called them, the Beverly Sisters. Like it's a bad thing to be a woman.
Yeah, I never understood that. Either they just refused to play whatever they were supposed to be playing up, or that was never really the case.
I don't think that was the case. I think they were just supposed to be stuck-up snobs.
I think, and they used the Shaker Heights, Ohio gimmick, which is an uppity suburb outside of Cleveland, which is still odd that they chose that area of the world.
Yeah,
like not Beverly Hills.
Like who picks Shaker Heights and then call them the Beverly Brothers? Like, why not Beverly Hills? They're not that rich, so they probably.
And I think the only reason Vince or whomever even knew of that city was because that was the station in which played the Superstars in Wrestling Challenge at the time. The Fox station was based out of Shaker Heights, Ohio. I think that's probably how they even knew what the hell it was.
That's a good part of town. Well, they ran Richfield all the time, and a lot of the pay-per-views from the early 90s and late 80s was there. So,
and Richfield is aptly named as well.
There you go.
A lot of people out there with some money. He's going after the hind end.
Oh, he's biting his ass.
We gotta have an ass biting. Yeah, we gotta do that. I feel like some of these spots they've just been doing.
Wow.
That was bad. He whiffed on that.
Horrible.
Yeah. Well, it's Bushwhackers. I'm not shocked.
God, what happened? You want to talk? These are like the poster childs of getting lazy. How do you go from the sheep herders to this?
Yeah, well, that was Vince's idea, but they couldn't be the sheep herders here. That's for sure. But I love it. I love the sheep herders. It's like they're two completely different teams. I mean, people watching the sheep herders in Portland or Florida or Memphis or Crockett or UWF. I love that shit. They were awesome. And then here we go with the Bushwhackers, and I never liked the Bushwhackers.
Swimming, like what are we doing? It's like he's swimming draped over the top.
Oh, mate!
Yeah, I mean, these dudes came in and saw that they can just whack their arms up and down and realize they could get over. They were never going to work another day in their life.
You mean all we gotta bloody do is lick each other's heads?
That's it, and ram my buddy's head into their chest, and we're done. Okay.
Hell, mate, we already have hepatitis. We don't care.
Yeah, I watched some of that Portland stuff with him and
Buddy Rose
and Piper. My goodness. Ooh, and they were
the ones that. And think about Buddy Rose. Yeah. They were tremendous. And think about Buddy Rose, who was for those who don't know, was the major, like the heel. If for everything Hulk Hogan was in WWF as a babyface, that was Buddy Rose in the city of Portland as a heel, and they turned him face. That's how evil the sheepherders were. Buddy got to do a babyface turn there in a little tiny run against the sheepherders, and that's how they got their hair cut. They lost those matches to Roddy and Luke and Butch, who once upon a time had afros. Go check it out. Got their hair cut in 1980 Portland, and then they look like this ever since.
It's just amazing. Like you said, completely. It's almost like they're two different people.
And I remember early on, Butch was Brute Miller, not Butch Miller. He was Brute Miller. And Luke, believe it or not, people, was called Sweet Luke Williams. He was supposed to be like a handsome guy. Maybe handsome. Like he's not really handsome, but that was the character he portrayed. Was that he was like, I'm Sweet Luke Williams. And look at him here.
Rubbing on nuts at WrestleMania 5.
You would never know that this guy in the ring right now that's about to take a terrible bump. I could have said that before he took it. I don't think Luke ever took a good bump. Well, when he would bounce out of the corner, that was the only bump I liked from Luke.
He would eat those corner shots. He would eat those.
I like that one, mate.
I never understood that. Me and my friends always laughed about that when he rubs on, I think it's Raymond's nuts at WrestleMania 5. Makes no sense.
Yeah, they're having some fun at the Rougeau's expense. Although Raymond, from everything I've ever understood,
the cameraman was looking. Like the cameraman was right there. It's like perfect. If you're going to get him, do it when the camera's watching.
They must have been in good with the Rougeaus because, from my understanding, if you're going to mess with one of the Rougeaus, it would be Jacques. You didn't want to mess with Raymond, and Jacques would even tell you that back in those days. So
Raymond does seem like the business type. Like, all right, I'm just gonna come in there, get my shit done, and go home. Like he doesn't seem like the outgoing, crazy dude that his brother seems to be.
Yeah, Jacques is in there to have fun. It goes all the way back. It goes all the way back to Memphis when Jacques was in there doing the Jerry Roberts. He wasn't even called Jacques Rougeau. He was Jerry Roberts. He's in there, and then eventually he turns heel, and his character is basically he carries around a boombox. And you can picture the Mountie doing this, right? And he comes in there and has a boombox, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on? I'm listening to this great music, and whatever in the mid-'80s." So Jacques Rougeau with a boombox, it works perfectly. If you know Jacques Rougeau's character, he loved to be stupid. Just look at SummerSlam 91.
Fun.
Yes.
He absolutely loved to have fun.
The Beverly Brothers just owning the Bushwhackers here, by the way. A night off for the Beverlys. I don't know if they liked working the Bushwhackers or not because it's an easy night, but at the same time, it's the Bushwhackers. So
the thing is, man, it's like Duggan. It's weird. They're over. Like this.
I always understood Duggan being over. I respected Duggan. I never understood the appeal of the Bushwhackers, and I was a kid when the Bushwhackers were around.
Either.
And I
never liked them.
Nope.
It never appealed to me. Like I was always a Rockers or a Hart Foundation type guy. That's what I like to watch. I like the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Those sort of teams. Like as I was watching the tapes and everything, but even as a kid, I never understood the Bushwhackers. But that crowd is just sitting there waiting for this shit to end so they can do the Bushwhacker bounce together.
Yeah, and I'm a kid at 89, 90, and I remember one of my cousins sitting across from me, and she goes, and they're coming out. It's a squash match on Superstars or whatever, and one of them's licking a kid in the crowd. And my cousin goes, "Oh, what would you do if they tried to lick your head?" and this is 10-year-old me, not an adult me, so take it for what it was. At 10, I said I'd punch him in the face. And it's more comical coming from a kid than an adult, like, "Oh yeah, you'd really beat up a bushwhacker or whatever." Like, but as a kid, I'm like, "Don't touch me." I'm not marveling over the fact that a wrestler might, touch me or whatever. It's like, "Don't you come near me, you gross motherfucker."
Right. No thanks. Yeah. I don't get it, man. I don't, but they're over. That's the amazing part.
Yeah,
they would never work now. This shit would never work now.
I don't know. I see. What's the difference between this and Orange Cassidy? Now I'm going to get a lot of heat. I like some of the Orange Cassidy stuff. At least when I first saw him, it's kind of repetitive. But what's the difference though? It's just a gimmick at the end of the day. And it's over because it's funny. And maybe people just enjoyed them because they were their level of funny. Clearly not mine. Maybe we're getting a hot tag. Can you get a hot tag in a Bushwhacker match? Can there be a hot tag?
Yeah. Butch always gets it, and he comes in and does the punches and the shit. What the hell? Like a pop in the head. Like he just touched
He went inside out on a Bush.
Oh,
these guys are bumping too hard for Bushwhacker moves because it doesn't look realistic. Uh-oh. He's going to use the battering. Wow, I've never seen him do that before. Have they done that before? Butch used one of the Beverly Brothers.
Don't give a shit, man.
No, he used one of the Beverly Brothers to do the battering ram to the other Beverly brother. And we're used to seeing Bo hit Blake. If you guys have been paying attention here lately on the grenade. Oh, nice bump.
Bo just went over the top rope.
He went flying, yeah. Oh, trips Butch up. But what is it, like 4 times now? Has Bo hit Blake in the recent weeks here on the WWF
shows? The other way around, right?
No, it's Bo hitting Blake. Here's Bo up to the top rope now. Well, we might be getting it again right here. He does hit Blake again. Unbelievable. It's like the 4th time he's done that. 2.
Watch this crowd, though.
Oh,
look,
there
they all
it is.
jumped up. They're going nuts, dude.
Yeah. Look at
they're already
the
doing
arms.
the Bushwhacker pound. I told you. They're just sitting there waiting to do this stupid dance with them, and they did absolutely nothing. For
the finish of this match was
minutes.
Unfortunately, this match went nearly 15 minutes, as you just said. But the outcome was a foregone conclusion 15 minutes ago. Like, we knew who was going to win this.
Oh, yeah.
This was like the only team that the Bushwhackers were allowed to beat on a consistent basis. That's where the Beverly Brothers were. Well, that too, yeah.
Which I never understood, but
at least then you could argue that the Bushwhackers were fairly new to the company. So, like, maybe you were protecting them a little bit. At
maybe
this point,
WrestleMania 5, but Royal Rumble, really?
Well, the Rouge that was their last night in the company, so they weren't going to go over.
Yeah. No, you don't know that going in.
No, you don't. I'm saying hindsight. Like, maybe that's why. But here, I mean, by this point we know, well, Bam Bam promo. So we'll go to Bam Bam.
Gli Stati Uniti, ovviamente, nonostante la sua stazza, l'uomo più veloce della World Wrestling Federation. You're big, but you're also really, really fast, don't you?
Well, that's right. Bam Bam Bigelow, the beast from the East, is not only the fastest 400-pound man in the world, but he's also the strongest man in the WWF today.
140 kg, non è solo l'uomo più veloce, ma Bam Bam dice anche l'uomo più forte della WWF. You're gonna fight Bret the Hitman Hart. Il prossimo combattimento di Bam Bam è con Bret the Hitman Hart.
Well, you know, Guido, Bret the Hitman Hart. The man is excellent in his execution. Let me make it simple. What he does well, and he does it perfect. But tonight in Milan, his excellence is going down because the Beast on the East is not playing no games. I'm going to beat the Hitman in the ring.
Secondo Bam Bam Bigelow, Bret the Hitman Hart.
These guys are 0 for ever tonight on promos. Nobody's doing a very, very good promo here. And all we got left is a Bret Hart promo, so we already know where we're going with that.
He probably knows Italian and can handle it better than some of these other guys, maybe. Who knows?
Grazie. That's Italian, I think.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I'm not even going to try it.
Oh, pasta lasagna, don't get any anya, right? So here we go. I think it's a Bret.
Sure. We'll go with that.
Yeah, Bret Hart promo coming up next. We're going to listen to the Hitman. We might regret that. But when they cut to Bret, we're going to go there. It's Bret and Bam Bam. This is the main event of our night of watch-alongs here on the Grenade. This is the final match, guys. I guess we got Bam Bam on his way to the ring. Can't be Bret because Bret's still got to cut his promo. Although it could be pre-tape. I don't know. We'll see here in a minute. The Hitman taking on Bam Bam Bigelow. We'll see this again at King of the Ring. And we'll see it on Raw. And who knows, maybe somewhere else as well.
It's a pretty good match, so I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, the King of the Ring was great. So we'll see what they do here. Bigelow heading into the ring. Not a bad main event for a Group B type of house show for sure. I'd take this any day.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go.
Here we go with Bret. Let's see what the Hitman has to say over here in Italy.
L'unico wrestler ad aver vinto il titolo intercontinentale, il titolo del tag team, cioè di doppio, e il titolo mondiale della World Wrestling Federation. You're the only one that won everything in the World Wrestling Federation. So how do you start from this standpoint for the tonight match?
I want you to take a good look at my eyes. These are the eyes of a guy that doesn't like to lose. You know, Bam Bam Bigelow, he doesn't know that I've gone through a lot in my career in the World Wrestling Federation. I've held the tag titles, I've held the Intercontinental title, and I've held the big one, the World Wrestling Federation Championship belt. And Bam Bam Bigelow, he may be 400 pounds of speed and strength and all that, but he doesn't have what it takes to beat the excellence of execution.
Bisogna guardarlo negli occhi, Bret the Hitman Hart, perché sono gli occhi di qualcuno che non vuole perdere. E Bam Bam Bigelow sarà veloce, sarà il più forte, ma gli manca quello che serve per battere the excellence of execution, ovvero Bret the Hitman Hart.
You know, there's a lot of things people can say about Bam Bam Bigelow, and I know what a lot of people are thinking. My patent move, the sharpshooter. Can I get the sharpshooter on a guy with legs that big? That's the big question. And you know what's gonna happen? We're gonna find out in just a couple of minutes. But everybody should remember one thing. I got a lot more moves than just the sharpshooter. That's why I'm technically the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Faremo vedere se Bret the Hitman Hart userà.
Well, you see where Natalia got it from. Just keep saying the same promo every week. At least with Bret, it works a little bit because, you know, you can take Bret seriously. He's a hell of a wrestler.
Yeah, I picked up on some of that Italian there. He was running through the accolades.
Yeah. In fact, he fed Bret the lines because he told Bret, "You're a former Intercontinental Champion, former Tag Team Champion, former WWF Champion." And then Bret says basically the same thing. So instead of the guy interpreting Bret was interpreting the guy. To a degree, yeah. And
you see him look at this sign. He grabbed this sign to look at it. This mark.
Yeah, well, everything's real, man.
I always say, like, I love Bret Hart, but there's no bigger fan in this world of Bret Hart than Bret Hart. Nobody could be Bret Hart's number one fan.
Yeah,
because Bret Hart holds that mantle.
As great of a wrestler as he was, and so many great matches that he had that I enjoyed. I can separate Bret Hart the man from Bret Hart the wrestler. It's something Bret can't do, and Bret Hart the man, still not. I can't even say anything bad about him as a human being. I don't know him, but as far as the way he envisions his wrestling history, yeah, he definitely takes it as if everything was real, and he's definitely the biggest Bret Hart fan on the face of the earth.
I'm sure you've heard the Scott Hall story about the shrine at his house, and I've seen he posted a picture of like a New Year's Day party or something with some wrestlers where they were playing pool, and like everything on the wall was like magazines and posters from events and European tour posters and all, like every cover he was ever on. Like the whole pool room was nothing but like all his stuff, like all his matches and to be fair, like that stuff is cool, and I think I would be the same way. Like I would want to remember it. Like if it feels like it's all for naught. Like if you just think about it, like some of these guys that had the career similar to Bret Hart, they're like struggling to make ends meet, and they got nothing. Like all the guys' memories, and at some point you're going to lose those. And it's like Bret cared enough about his career to remember it and honor it and respect it. It's his livelihood. I mean, I bet you the guy who built the Ford or the Mustang or whatever, like I'm sure he has a few of those or had a few of those in his collection and things like that. But you're just proud of it. It's what he's proud of, and I don't have an issue with it per
look
se.
At that quick moving Bigelow.
Yeah, Bam Bam's just showing Bret like I can do things too. I'm just as athletic as you are, buddy.
I'm sure Bret liked working guys like Bam Bam. I like in the promo, he's gonna see if he can we're gonna find out in a few minutes if he can put Bam Bam in the sharpshooter. It's like you put Yoko in the sharpshooter, you should be able to put Bam Bam in there. In fact, I think Bret used the same exact line going into WrestleMania. We'll see. We're gonna find out WrestleMania if I can put him in the sharpshooter, but I have other moves too. So it's kind of steal. Oh, Bam Bam flat on his face. You know, Bam Bam used to like to do that dive and land on your nose spot. That must have been his comedy spot because he would do that on the shows with Doink and Dink a lot. Dive after Dink and miss Dink and land on his nose.
He loves the headbutt. So, did he really get himself there?
He might have busted. Was his nose bleeding?
It's what it looked like, but I don't know if it was just the quality of the video or what. Right. But it looked like it.
You know, while this match is just getting started, and I know they go on for a little bit of time here, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in again this week, man. It's been something different, a lot of fun, and it feels like one big giant pay-per-view, maybe not the best quality matches of all time, but other than The Undertaker or Yokozuna working twice, it's been an entire night of different matches, different guys in the ring.
Yeah, it's been fun. Like, this stuff is unique and different, and I don't think anyone else is out there reviewing UK tour shows from '93. It's just not what's on people's list to do. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as we have. It's been fun, and we still got about 20 minutes left here in this match anyway. So,
you know, I'll be perfectly honest with you. When I listen to watch-alongs, I haven't done so in a while because we do our own so much. But when I used to listen to watch-alongs, specifically Tony Schiavone and things of that nature, I never watched the pay-per-view. I just listened to Tony because he's Tony. He's funny and it's good stuff. It's just entertaining without having to watch the show. And I've had several people tell me the same thing about us. They just listen. They don't even watch along. They just listen to our information and any jokes we tell and this, that, and the other. But I got to encourage you guys. The links are out there. I put them up myself on social media and here on the show descriptions. Go and watch these. It's different. These are matches we didn't see on TV or at the pay-per-views around this time period, other than Bam Bam and Brett here. Anyway, on this particular side of the tour, we haven't seen a lot of these matches before.
Yeah.
So
you had to pay to see these back in the day.
Right. And then, WrestleMania Fallout, we did see Hennig and Narcissist, a completely different type of finish there, and Crush and Doink continues on.
Match.
Yeah. Nothing's the same as what we saw at WrestleMania. And it's been a fun night, and the time really has for the time it's been already. You figure the first show was an hour and a half. This show's an hour and 45 minutes. That's over 3 hours. Ooh, look at that. Oh, I swear I thought Bammer was going to bust out a cartwheel there. I was going to mark out to no end if he did.
I was waiting for it. Either that or I thought he was going to bump out over the back, like go backwards over the top. Wasn't expecting him to just come right out of it with an elbow.
I tell you what, man, Bam Bam Bigelow was on its way to becoming my new favorite wrestler when he initially came to the WWF back in 87 and 88. Nobody had ever looked like that before and moved like that before. And he was just so awesome. Like, you believed him as a main eventer, a tough mother, what I'm about to say there. And I feel like Lex Luger, trying to avoid the word, but it wasn't meant to be. I know, probably Hogan had a lot to do with that. I have to say he did that to a lot of guys, but then Bam Bam blew out his knee. Then he blew out his other knee. I don't think he was really happy there. Him and Humperdinck leave together, and he wasn't even there. I don't think he was there a total of a full year before he was gone, just in and out so fast. But man, I felt like he could have been the next big thing as a babyface. I didn't like him so much as a heel, but as a babyface, I just love that initial run he had in the WWF. It was so abrupt. It was cut shortly right after WrestleMania 4, and he was working hurt there. Actually, I think the story goes is he was working with a blown out knee in that match with the gang at WrestleMania 4, and then when he took that bump to the floor, he blew out his other knee.
Damn, I didn't know that part, but yeah, it's what's unfortunate. I don't know if it's unfortunate, but it's just the nature of the beast. You can relate it to NBA too, like all those great teams that fell to the wayside because Michael Jordan in his era.
Yeah,
like you just go look at some of those teams, like the Knicks and the Knicks, the Pacers, the Jazz teams, that Sonics team that they beat. Like a lot of those teams were stacked with Hall of Famers, extremely good teams, and they ran into Jordan. Like, what can you do?
Right.
And so it's like all these guys like Bam Bam. Yeah, he could have definitely made it, and he could have been a main eventer, but Hogan was still red hot. And it's like, what do you do? Like, Vince probably didn't want to move on from Hogan at that point, that early.
I don't think he's going to replace. I don't think he's going to replace Hogan. I think Hogan held guys down to keep them from ever getting that potentially that high. I don't know that Bigelow could replace Hogan. I'm not saying that he didn't have the promo ability or things, but
saying it's like
there was room for him there. You know what I mean? I felt like he could have done so much more.
Like where? I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just curious. Like where would you put him? Like you're not going to take the belt off Hogan for him. So where does he fall in line? I think. In 87, I guess you got the Honky Tonk Man for the IC belt. Savage and Steamboat.
I think he's one of those guys you don't give. I think he's one of those guys you don't give a belt to. I hate to say that, but I think he's definitely your. Where is he at right now? He's main eventing the B show. I think that's where he could have been. He could have been main eventing the B shows, whereas Hogan's doing the A show. Then you have Bam Bam drawing on the B show with the right opponents, like a Bam Bam DiBiase feud. From a wrestling standpoint, those would be some good matches.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree with you there. I just curious because not everybody needs to be the champion.
That's why we always talk about Boss Man's downfall was basically not getting the Intercontinental belt at WrestleMania 7. It was basically the end of prime Big Boss Man, right? But really, the Big Boss Man with the Intercontinental title? Now, back then, I was pissed off. And back then, I was like, why isn't Big Boss Man the Intercontinental Champion? But when I look back now, the Big Boss Man coming down to the ring with the Intercontinental title, he didn't need it. But he did need that B-show main event feud that they didn't give him with a guy that could really work.
And see, that's what I was thinking, like in '88.
Now that Boss Man holding the heavyweight title up in the air, I could have, too.
No, I think Boss Man and Bam Bam would have been pretty solid.
As opposed to Rumble 93, Bam Bam Boss Man.
Yeah. Well, these dudes are fresh, I think it would have been a nice little feud. Leading Big Boss Man into Hogan. Like, I think, because Boss Man came in and was like basically right into Hogan with the Twin Towers and everything. So I think giving him Bam Bam, or even giving Bam Bam after Hogan's done with him, like if you want to do Hogan first, that's fine. But because the Twin Towers really did nothing. So Bam Bam and Boss Man, or Bam Bam, I wouldn't say Akeem, but Bam Bam and Boss Man would have been pretty solid. I mean, you could do Rude. I mean, there's a lot of guys that could work, and he could definitely main event a B-show house, like, absolutely. So shit, he's picking up the stairs. Oh, 1993,
Bigelow picking up the stairs. He's going to smash Bret Hart with it. He just drove him sternum first into the steel post outside. There have been a couple spots here. I'm impressed with Bret Hart doing the old Marty Jannetty or Shawn Michaels slide through the leg spot back into the ring from the apron. I hadn't seen him. Now, he didn't do it as fast or as slick as one of the Rockers, but I was still shocked to see Bret do that. Couple other
gimmick, but it worked. Absolutely, it worked.
Yeah, there's some good spots here in this match. I'm digging it. And like, I haven't seen the King of the Ring match in such a long time that I don't know what they reuse there.
We're going to get a completely different match.
Well, I will be shocked if we get a different finish, because every time I see these two wrestle, it's the same exact finish. Bret, that's one thing Bret never changed up when these two got in the ring.
It's such a good spot, though, I think, because we talk about it with Bret all the time. He doesn't do anything that's not realistic. So what would a little guy do in a fight with the big guy? He's going to run from him. So sliding under the bottom rope through the legs is something you would do when you're in there with a bigger opponent, because you want him to have to move and chase you to wear down and lose the energy. And so Bret that's just what he does. So that's why he would bust it out here, even though he has no reason to do it against a 1-2-3 kid or something. Like, that's not going to do anything to the kid.
No, definitely not.
Bam Bam, it's going to wear him down and make him chase him, and he's trying to run from him. So it makes sense. But yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't switch up the finish. That's odd for him. I know he does.
He just must have really loved that finish because it works so well. The first time I saw it when they did it together at King of the Ring, I was like, wow, that was really cool, because you didn't see that spot every day. You didn't see Bret do that spot all the time. And it was cool that he took a bad guy, or a big guy over into a move like that. And then I think I saw them do a match similar to that on a Coliseum video. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's the same finish. And then I saw them do the finish again on something else, maybe a hidden gem or something along those lines. And I'm like, wait a minute, now I've seen that finish 3 times. So I'm just figuring, I'll be shocked if we get something different here.
Yeah, probably gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. But like pay-per-view matches and matches that everybody's gonna see, like Bret would switch it up. Like it would. We seen that WrestleMania 8, the roll-up type finish.
Nice toss to the floor there. Bret goes flying out. Nice.
But when's the next time you see it? King of the Ring, which is like a year and a few months later. So like, he was good at spacing them out as far as pay-per-views go. So it's not something you've seen all the time unless you're watching everything that's available to you at the time, which it was a lot harder to get everything back then than it is now. You can't just go to YouTube.
Absolutely. Oh, look at the Bam Bam. He did the little Akeem there with his free hand on that suplex. I don't know what that was about, but that was Akeem all day long with that free hand. He picked Bret up in a suplex, one-handed suplex, and then kind of did a little jive soul bro with the free hand. I like that.
You know what would have been awesome? You mentioned it, but if he stuck around in WWF, let's say he was buddies with Hogan, you just run that gimmick, but he trades on him and joins up with Boss Man to make the Twin Towers with those two. And then
Boss Man and Bam Bam?
And then as a tag team. That would have been with Hogan and Macho.
There would have been some good matches. Would have been some good matches.
Yeah. But plus it would add a little bit of heat because there's reasoning behind it. He traded on Hogan to join Boss Man, so there's more heat there on those matches other than just Twin Towers being two big guys stuck together to feud with the Mega
So
Powers.
ridiculous when you look back at that and just think about Akeem's gimmick and then Boss Man stuck with Akeem. Would have made sense, one-man gang, because he looked like a criminal, right? Cop and the criminal. And
Yeah.
you get Akeem. Bam Bam with a near fall there on Brett, though.
Nice back suplex there. It's so weird, like, you do that gimmick switch on Akeem and then feed him to Hogan. It's like, why would you do that? Just to feed him to Hogan? Like, wouldn't you want the more serious, legit, already established one-man gang there with Boss Man? Like, I don't know. Great angle, but I don't know why it's Akeem.
Well, it's
we do get the gif of him falling through the ropes.
Yeah, it's still a fun character at the end of the day. I mean,
I love the gimmick. It's so damn ridiculous.
I know I've never told the story I've never told this story on our shows before, but I've told people this story. I used to have, I don't know, about 50 Hasbro guys once upon a time, and maybe about 20 years ago, I wanted to sell them to a buddy of mine who collected wrestling figures, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll buy them from you." And I put them all in a big giant plastic bag, and I drive over his house, and I go in his room, and I dump them out on his bed because he's still living at home at the time. We're like 20 years old or whatever. And I dump them out all over his bed, all the Hasbro figures, and I see Akeem, and I go, "Oh, wait, can I keep him?" And I'm like, "I'm keeping him." And he looked at me, and he took like a 5-second pause, and he's like, "All right." So I got to keep my Akeem. That was the only Hasbro I kept, and I sat him on my desk, and he lived with me on my computer desks throughout the course of, my God, I don't know, over a dozen years. I kept Akeem on my computer desk for whatever reason. Now, I kind of remember this move here, this over-the-shoulder backbreaker spot. Didn't they do this at King of the Ring?
I'm pretty sure they do. Do you still got Akeem?
No, I don't know where he went to. And I had him forever. I mean, I had him till maybe the last couple of years or something like that.
I have a few Hasbros. Those things are through the roof these days. It seems like as soon as COVID hit, everybody wanted to collect Hasbros again. And
it's COVID. Let's collect our Hasbro figures.
Government's giving us a bunch of free money. I want to jack the price of everything.
I need that Skinner.
That series, I don't even know what series. The red card Bret Hart with the silver glasses, and it's like a $200 figure now, like loose, out of the package. In the package, you're looking at like $600-700. And I bought that damn on the card like 5, 6, maybe 10 years ago on eBay for like, I got it for like $95 or something. Wow. And now it's $500.
Looks like it felt like maybe we were going to pick that. Oh, Bam Bam Stagger. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, he faked us out. Looked like he was going to lose his balance there with Brett and that crossbody, and then he caught himself in a backbreaker. Good spot there. Yeah, I mean, I remember in '92 I got a pair of Hitman shades at a show, and I ended up trading them to my brother for something maybe he had or something like that. I know my brother ended up with them eventually. But I was like, I'd love to have those kind of shades again. And really the only person you could find selling them is Bret Hart, like that style. Yep. And I don't understand why nobody else makes shades similar to that. I'd like to have a pair, but I'm not arguing what the value is of them, but they're just a little too pricey for me to own a pair of Hitman shades these days. And they don't need to be Hitman shades. I mean, they could have been, they didn't have to say Hitman on them. I just wanted a pair of shades made like that again. Right,
yeah. Cheap and easy to take off and travel. And
one thing I learned
easy to give away, right?
Yeah, one thing I learned about those shades were don't clean them with Windex because the ink came right off of them. The Hitman and everything just wiped right off when I tried to clean them. I was so bummed out. Well, look at that. Ooh. So we've seen Bam Bam use that move a lot on the job guys. He'll put them in that double underhook and then throw them up in the air, and then they just kind of land on his knee, whichever way. But he protected Brett there. Never let go of the move.
Of course.
Looks like he's going up for the finisher. Looks like he's going up for the diving headbutt. We may be going into the finish. I think we are.
I think you can buy the Brett shades signed or unsigned off his website, if I remember right.
Right, yeah. I wasn't willing to pay whatever Brett had up there. Not saying it was something ridiculous, but for me it is
30 or 40.
Yeah,
it's only like $30 or $40.
Well,
yeah, I'm a Brett fan, and I don't have any, so I'm good. But I just don't know what I'd do with them. I would need a mannequin head.
We're
nice
working our way into the corner, Steve. I feel like something might be coming here. Well, we'll have to wait and see Brett making the comeback. We don't even get the 5 moves of doom yet, though. So who knows?
Yeah,
he drags Bigelow. Oh, here they come. The 5 moves of doom. Nice Russian leg sweep. That's how you do it. Yeah, I taught it to Virgil.
Who perfect. He needs to go talk to Brett about doing a Russian leg sweep.
He sure does. So we get the leg sweep. What are we doing next here? The Bulldog? No.
How does Brett like share info? Like,
I don't know.
Well, if you want to do it right, you got to do it this way.
Yeah. Don't do it like a hyena.
I can show you how to do it excellently. Execute it.
I can execute it excellently.
It has to be the way he was raised. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Uh-oh. Well, wow, really nice Bulldog off the middle rope. That looked great. The way Brett laid out with that. And good bump from Bam Bam is all the magic marker or whatever he uses there to load up the tattoo flames on his head seem to be evaporating. And yes, everybody, he does have fire on his head in tattoo form, but he enhances it quite a bit before he goes to the ring.
Makes it really pop.
Yes.
Because
he biting him? He's biting Bam Bam.
So.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Belly. Oh, man, that was great.
Mm-hmm.
I love how he sells the chest.
So
man,
Brett tried
everything.
Yeah, he tried a back suplex on Bammer there, and Bigelow falls on top. Good bump for a near fall by Bam Bam. Brett's making the comeback, but Bigelow's still in this, so I like that.
Yeah, I do too. You know what's amazing? You know what's amazing to me? All these guys today, like Bret Hart's my favorite wrestler. I love him and all it, and it's like, but none of you guys want to sell or work like he did.
Right. Oh, here it is. Here it is.
There it is.
Yeah, the old victory roll of doom from the Hitman. 1, 2, 3. That seemed to be the kryptonite of Bam Bam Bigelow. Was the?
I wonder if Bam Bam liked taking it too.
He's like,
he looked really good taking it.
Yeah, the victory roll, man. It's you don't see that all the time.
Makes him look.
Yeah,
it makes him look good too. So.
Yeah. And there it is, guys. Bret Hart picks up the win. The main event of Group B, 20 minutes and 38 seconds.
Damn good match.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, I don't know if these guys ever had really a.
And
bad
it wasn't
one.
just Bret. It wasn't just Bret. Bam Bam looked excellent. A lot of stuff he did really, really good.
Yeah, they weren't phoning this in. But I don't know if you can phone in a Bret Hart match, but Bam Bam came to work. No, and Bigelow looked like he was easily on board to have a great match here, and they did. This is a match worth going out and watching, honestly.
Yeah, this was really good. It just makes you appreciate both guys more than you probably already do.
It's just a shame that Hulk Hogan did what he did here. I hate to remind everybody he's here right now, theoretically. Anyway.
I was going to mention him. I was just going to say Bret Hart without the dad that he had is probably an even worse version of Hulk Hogan.
Ugh, what do you want to think about that?
I hate to say that. Oh, the fans coming in.
Yeah, I saw that fan trying to get in the ring there as the show concludes. Oh, what a bad time to end. I wonder what happened there.
But I mean, what I mean is Hogan has no, like, he didn't grow up in the business or know the business. It was just a way for him to make money. And we see how his attitude is towards things.
Yeah.
If Bret didn't have that upbringing where he took everything serious and it was not only a job, it was a livelihood, and it's how he had anything in life is wrestling, he appreciates it a little bit more, I think. But if he didn't have that and the way he's bitter and his mind works,
right,
he'd be like a million times worse than Hogan. I think it would be that bad. But
well, it's hard to say.
He's grounded a little bit.
I mean, Owen grew up in the same house, and he didn't take anything seriously. I mean, he was a great worker, but from the stories told, he was very he liked to have fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody's different. But.
Sure. No, I get what you're saying, though. Yeah, Brett being the way Brett is, it's a good thing that he was grounded.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, it's just some kids deal with more than the other kids. You know, if Owen was the baby, he's probably able to do whatever he wants, and Brett's already gone through hell and back, and they didn't do that to Owen. Like I don't know the story there.
Well, I'll tell you another thing he can credit, having a father like Stu and having a family like he had, and getting to work up in Stampede with all of the great European wrestlers and Japanese wrestlers and all those guys that Stu would bring over. It gave us this. It gave us this version of Bret Hart, this guy that really knows how to work and tell a story and make everything look real. So, this is very cool.
He's seen everything. That's like before he was even anything in this business, he's seen every version of wrestling that you could see. Like what his dad did, and then all those guys that came over, and he took a little bit of everything. He had to.
And we saw a little bit of everything here between these two shows, Group A and Group B. The only guys not on these shows, well, we got to miss the Giant Gonzalez, lucky us. And Razor Ramon, obviously, we know he's rehabbing that knee after some TV taping, so no Razor on these shows. Yeah, it's about time he took a little time off. But for the most part, we saw most of the currently active roster, which is scary to a degree, some of these matches and guys on these shows.
Typhoon.
But things are about to change. All of the new names coming in for better or worse. You got Mr. Hughes, the Smoking Guns, Adam Bombs headed in, the Quebecers eventually here, Men on a Mission. Things are going to change. The roster's going to change.
You forgot my guy, man. My boy, Ludwig Borga is coming.
Oh, yeah, Ludwig Borga coming in by SummerSlam time. Absolutely.
Tony Holm, yeah. Marty's coming back.
Yeah, Marty Jannetty on his way back in, too. Yeah, it's a lot of good things on the upswing. We saw the Kamikaze Kid make his debut on May 3rd Raw. So we know what's around the corner. Yeah. May 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So there's a lot to look forward to. It almost feels like the NWA 89 where if you can get past like February, March,
right,
you're in for a treat.
If you can get past George Scott, you're in for a treat. If you can get past Hulk Hogan, you're in for a treat.
Exactly. Like I'm not saying 93 is on even anywhere close to 1989 NWA. I'm not saying that, but for 93 standards, it gets way better.
Yeah, it's good way to describe it. So we want to thank you guys. I didn't know how this was going to turn out. I was a little worried. We've never done anything like this before. I've never walked into a show completely blind to where I have no idea what I'm even about to watch other than I wrote down the list of matches. It worked out easy. It was really easy. It was fun. I'm glad we did it, honestly. And I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Steve, I really appreciate you being here and making this run here, back-to-back watch-alongs on one show. Never done that before.
No, it's a test run. I think we hit it out of the park. So definitely could be something we do in the future and when it warrants it and the shows line up. I mean, this worked out perfect. I think the times on the show. So yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was nice to see like everybody. That was cool.
Totally agree. Like I said, it felt like one big long pay-per-view. Again, not exactly pay-per-view caliber action from bell to bell with some of these guys, but Brett and Bigelow delivered, and that was enough for me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that was a hell of a match. And it was nice to see Luger and Perfect put on a match that was acceptable because they're both capable of putting on a good match. So it was nice to see that.
Yep, I agree. So thank you guys for sticking with us and watching along. We hope you guys enjoyed the April show last week and the May show right around the corner next week. We're going to look at May, 4 weeks of May. Of course, we did May 1st through the 3rd on the April show. So if you guys go back and listen to that from last week, and we hope you enjoyed that little special bonus show, Survivor Series 95, the watch along from our Patreon account over at patreon.com/WrestleCopia as a nice little fun additional bonus show we put out there on Thanksgiving last week. And this week, here it was. We promised it, and we delivered. The watch-along series continues here as well on the Grenade. And when we do King of the Ring in just a few weeks, Steve. But until then, we got to get through May and a little bit of June as well.
Sounds like a plan. I can't wait for King of the Ring.
Yes, and a lot of King of the Ring qualifiers still to come here on the next couple episodes of the Grenade. So looking forward to doing all of that. So once again, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you, Steve, for being here for this European Rampage tour here in 1993.
It's been fun, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed that Shawn Michaels has left the building.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Sneaker tamer insoles from Odor Eaters. Tame even ferocious sneaker odor with the world's most powerful odor destroyer.
Hey guys, just want to say thank you again for joining Steve and I as we have more watch-alongs on the way as we continue through 1993 here on The Grenade Show, King of the Ring, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. But we also plan to add multiple watch-along specials to our Patreon account. In the coming weeks, we'll be adding some house shows that maybe we'll be able to tell you how to get your hands on those house shows to watch along with us, as well as some of the USA specials like March to WrestleMania 9. So you guys want to keep checking back to our Patreon account for all new watch-along videos in our watch-along series over at patreon.com/WrestleCopia. And that $5 tier is what you want to hit. That's the all-access tier. Yes, we do have 14 tiers of goodies, but the $5 tier is my personal favorite to shill because it's all access. You get everything from every tier below the $5 tier, as well as our entire Patreon watch-along series, which covers everything from several Saturday Night's Main Events to Clash of the Champions to tons of WCW and WWF pay-per-views from the Monday Night War era. They make great complimentary pieces to our Monday Warfare podcast, by the way, but they're great standalones as well to Coliseum home videos and everything in between. Like I said, we'll be adding things from 1993 here in the WWF as part of that watch-along series, USA specials, and other things of that nature. And all right, with all of that out of the way, it's time once again, time to say goodbye, but we will return next week. And until that time, this is Ray Russell for my co-host this week, Stephen Eckstadt, saying from pillar to post and coast to coast, you pull the pin and we'll pick up the pieces right here on the Wrestling Memory Grenade. See you next week. Don't miss it. Be there.
I see Bret Hart can do it. Why not? Virgil can do it too.